I'll be with you for the next 6 rounds, bringing you all the action, all of the stories, live and direct on Red Bull TV, from our drivers and on track. And I'm super excited to get this show on the road. We're here at Ricardo Tormo Circuit, formerly the home of MotoGP, but this time our travelling circus of drift cars are out on track. Look at this paddock behind us. We've got 44 drivers representing 22 nations, and it is glorious to see. The fans are filling up. I'm absolutely delighted. We've got 20 plus degrees. What more do you want for a season starter? So let's take a look at our calendar. Obviously, we're starting here in Spain, in Valencia, and then we're heading to 3 of our favourite tracks and drift masters. Second, we're going to Mondello Park, the House of Drift in Ireland, and then we'll be heading to Finland, and then on to Latvia, Riga. Everybody loves Riga. It's one of our favourite tracks of the season. And then we'll be heading to a brand new track, 2 brand new tracks in 1 year. You asked, we delivered. We're heading to Hungary, and then it's the showdown. It's round 6. We're heading back to the PGE Narodowy in the centre of Warsaw in Poland. Now, speaking of Poland, we have it stands, we have 6 championship contenders. If Connor wins his top 16 battle, Peter, by the numbers, cannot win this championship.
Yeah, that's the interesting one. However, he's got 2 very hungry Finnish drivers to go through from there on in.
Here we are, Peter Więcek, he could just upset the apple cart, beat them all, so could Marco Zaccarel. We don't know what's going to happen. Who wants to win the biggest event of all time?
Zaccarel fires in, Więcek onto the door, now we start to feel the pressure. Final battle after final battle, and Zaccarel fires through. Doesn't even make sense what Więcek just done, but look at this, both bumpers, both rear ends tucked into the wall. Oh, and some separation, he's broken the front wheel. Więcek snaps the front wheel on the car and puts it into the wall. Zaccarel drives away, nothing makes sense. Rip the book up, it's done.
Absolutely perfectly here. Watch this.
Oh, it was tyre to tyre. Oh, the front of the car jumped off the tarmac.
And that would bring us back to the original statement, Kevin, that it was Peter's fault of what happened. And he tried to stay in the fight, but he just couldn't. It's the Polish driver, Pawel Korpuliński, and the stadium erupts, Ian. He's done it. He's got the Polish into the top 4. Conor Shanahan has to settle the nerves. This is the biggest battle of his life. His dad roaring motivation at him as he gets into the car. All the emotions in that Shanahan team, and they have gone through the ringer for over 8 years in this sport to try and win a European championship, and this is the closest they'll ever be. Hold on to your seats. Here we go.
Here we go, through they come. Look at this big flick from Shanahan, calculated from Korpuliński. They don't want to make a mistake this time. Shanahan deep in outside zone 1. Korpuliński painted on the side of that Toyota GT86 as they come through. Korpuliński almost takes the front end off of his car on the transition. He does take the front end off the car as Shanahan gets into the wall. Korpuliński stays with him. He doesn't care about the front bumper. Oh, and he tags Shanahan on the transition. Korpuliński's thirsty for it. He's hungry. He wants it more than ever. As Shanahan leads them into that final outside zone, Korpuliński loses some ground.
Beyond what we've seen all night from Conor Shanahan. Audience, there is mouths open everywhere in attendance. Here comes the result, the biggest one of the year. Shanahan's the champion. Shanahan is the champion. He's the 2023 champion, and the emotions fall out of after the longest night, I think, in the history of the sport, Ian. He's done it. He is the 2023 champion, and he's going to go to the final. Unbelievable. Unbelievable scenes.
Speechless, Dave. Absolutely speechless.
Have we ever seen scenes like this in drifting before? Unbelievable. What a night. What a night for drifting. Our 2023 champion has been crowned, Conor Shanahan.
has fulfilled a lifelong dream of being the best in the business, and he had to work for it all weekend. That is all from the 2023 Drift Masters Championship. We're back next year with more action, more smoke from this incredible sport. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We'll see you next year, where it's going to get bigger, badder, and better. Good night. We'll see you then.
What an incredible season ender that was. I mean, Conor Shanahan pipping the top post there. It was all down to the wire, and it made for an incredible event. Well, we're back here. It's the season starter. Everything is set to zero, and these drivers are going to be hungry. Now, I know one driver, Lauri Heinonen, who throughout the whole season did manage to get it onto the top step of the podium, but put himself into the second place in the championship by the end of the season. I know that he's hungry. We're going to have a chat with him. He's looking very good out there during our qualifying yesterday. So let's catch up with him now. Hello. Lauri Heinonen. We were having a chat yesterday. This is going to be your year, you were telling me.
Yeah, we'll just have to learn the new tricks of the lightweight chassis.
Yes, you were telling me about the lightweight chassis. You put your car on a bit of a diet, you told me. You've lost around 180 kilos out of this. And for a big engine, 180 kilos is going to make a huge difference when it comes to speed.
Yeah, the car definitely feels faster, but it's also faster on the transition, so I have to learn the new tricks.
How are you finding this circuit? I mean, it's hot. Is it quite tricky? We're seeing quite a lot of mechanical failures here. Do you think it's something to do with the circuit, or are some people just not doing the pre-season testing?
No, it's definitely the circuit, because from the first corner on, you're full throttle, and the car is doing all the work. Like, you're asking so much from the car, and you have to run huge grip, fast track. Yeah.
Which round are you particularly looking forward to this year? Obviously, we've got this new round in Spain, we've got Hungary as well, but we know everybody's got favourites. Riga, Ireland, Finland, which is it?
I think Riga still, because I always like Riga, and it's fast track, and now we have an even faster car, so maybe this year we'll do better.
First battle today, are you nervous or are you feeling cool?
Feeling nervous, because of the training was so short. I think we need at least, on this level still, we need like at least a day more on this new track.
Okay, Lauri, well, good luck for today, and we hope to see you coming through your top 32 battle.
Thanks.
Okay, back out into the sunshine. This pits paddock area is filling up with fans. I love to see it. It feels like Drift Masters every single year is getting bigger and bigger. Online, we're seeing unprecedented numbers, and they're all coming to watch us on Red Bull Live TV. We're going to head over to Conor Shanahan now. He's out of his suit. He's ready for the sunshine. He's in his shorts. He's got his sunglasses on. Conor Shanahan, here we go. So, Conor, we're just going to tell our viewers we had a bit of a shock exit yesterday. Obviously, high hopes coming off the back of a 2023 championship win, coming into 2024. Mechanical failure. Not a score that got you through into our top 32. You've had a night to sleep on it. Can you tell us what's been going through your mind after yesterday's events?
Yeah, so obviously it wasn't an ideal situation. 2 mechanical failures on both runs, which didn't give me a good enough score to get inside the show. But you know that's what champions have to find a solution to. You know, I got to dig deep now and make sure that we kick off by winning Ireland. I think is probably the only option. No points is a scary situation after one round, but you know, as they say, you got to dig deep and prove why you are the champion and why you want to become the champion again. So I'm ready to do that. You know, I had a night's sleep on it, and you know, it's the joys of the game. You know, we're driving cars what are 950 brake horsepower. You know, at the end of the day, we're not robots. The car is not a robot. You know, stuff happens. I'm still proud to be here, you know, still proud to be flying the Shanahan's flag and having the boys here and stuff, and watching Jack and Fionn drive today will be quite nice. But now I just step back, look at it from a different side and enjoy drifting. You know, it's quite a unique track, and I honestly believe by watching some of the top 4 battles yesterday that this is anyone's game. Like, I really think we're in for a shock today who's going to win this event, and that's exciting for European drifting, you know. So I think don't be surprised if it's not one of the big shots on the podium today, and yeah, we're in for a treat, I think.
Well, I was about to say about that. Ali Makhseed, I mean, multiple Middle Eastern champion. He's come over here. He was borrowing cars last. Suddenly, as soon as he jumps into his own GT86, he's like a new man. topping the podium yesterday for qualifying, 12 points on the board. What were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, for sure. He's done a great job, you know, coming in. I've been watching him drive in Oman and stuff when he won championships there, and I know for sure he's a great driver. You know, so it was cool to see him come in. Also, former Red Bull athlete, so it's amazing that they're topping the charts as well. And he's going to be exciting to watch today. You know, I think he has a very good understanding of how to win events and understand, you know, what it takes to find a solution of becoming an event winner. So it's going to be interesting to see his approach today. But I think overall, you know, everyone is going to be fighting. You know, all the top boys are probably going to be looking now, saying this is an advantage to pull a gap from me. But don't worry, I'll be back just to catch you. But you know, Laurie, Peter, all the boys are going to be going for it. Jack as well included. You know, I know Jack is hungry for a championship this year, so. Let's see. I'll put in the work with him today and hopefully kick it off on the right foot and try become an event winner early on in the championship. And yeah, I don't want him to pull too much of a gap. I still want to race him until the end. But I'm excited. Exciting day for drifting, and obviously I'd love to be in the show, but it is what it is.
One last question, Conor. Would you say you're confident?
Confident in me? Yeah, for sure. You got to be confident. If you don't believe in yourself, nobody believes in you, and that's the name of the game. You know, we might be out of the show right now, but don't worry, we'll still claim it back. And you know, that's always what I do. I just believe that I'm good enough to be better than everybody else here, and that's what always my mindset is.
Thank you so much, Conor, and have a great day today. But that is it from me. I'm going to hand you back up to our kings of the commentary box, Dave Egan and Ian Waddington. Boys, it's going to be a big season.
And I'll tell you what, Ian, I'm excited. First round, all the scores reset to 0. New names in the qualifying sheet that we wouldn't expect so high up, and a very tough, challenging track ahead of us here today. Temperatures are high, ambitions are high, and the horsepower and grip has never been higher. My name is Dave Egan. I'm going to be talking you through all the action today alongside my good friend Ian Waddington. Ian, we're going to try and keep ourselves together today because I'm sure the excitement is going to leave us breathless. We, though, are ready to see the season kick off in the battles.
We certainly are, Dave. Yes, qualifying yesterday gave us a little look of what we're coming to expect this season, and those showdown battles we see at the end of qualifying gave us a little taster of what we expect to see today. There have been a few little slight changes to the initiation point on the circuit and that first outside zone, just to make the battles cleaner, make the judges' job maybe a little bit clearer today, because there was a little bit of doubt whether there could be some contact. And here we go. Let's take a look at the weekend schedule, Dave.
Yeah, we're going to kick things off right now with the top 32, where we will see half the grid eliminated. 16 drivers will go out of top 32. Then on to the main event, the top 16. It starts at 3:50 p.m. local time. Check it out wherever you are in the world, because this is something you don't want to miss. We're going to have what I also think is going to be very interesting in this round is how the judges are going to decipher who's going to go through to each round. And again, I can presume it, you guys can think about it, but we can talk to them directly. Today we've got head judge David Callas ready to tell us all about this very challenging track here in Spain. David, it's going to be a tough job for you guys today. A lot of thrills and spills ahead, but what are you guys looking out for?
Yeah, it won't be easy. We were looking on the lead runs and the chase runs from both drivers. On their lead runs, we will be looking at the same thing like we've been looking yesterday on the qualification. So the job of the leader is the same thing like what they've been doing yesterday. So hit all clipping zones, maintain consistent angle, and drive so the chase car can follow. So lead driver goal is clear. Now we can go to the chase driver. Chase driver needs to be as close to his lead. His lead is his clipping point, is his god at this moment. So he needs to follow him as much as he can. However, without good lead, there is no good chase. So we change a little bit our judging system for this year. So we will be putting more points for the lead run than for the chase run. So if you will not show us a good lead, it will be very hard to go on. So we will be very keen on the lead. Hopefully, both leads will be great, and the chase run will decide.
Well, that's what I want to hear, David. I want to hear that positivity, because I think you're right. I think we've got to lean on the lead driver a little bit more this season, because you can't get close. You can't have all that door-to-door action that we want without that. So, you know what? Lead and chase, we can talk about it in theory, but let's look at the track these guys are up against today. It is a very fast one and a very tough one, and here it is. So you did the first corner, outer zone 1, full throttle in there, get your little decel done, then tuck the nose of the car into inside clip 2. This is where everyone was struggling in qualifying, and it's full throttle towards outside zone 3 without straightening up. Just keep the car, and I'm going to see Kuba struggling a little bit here as he goes to inside clip 4. That's another inner zone. Then trying not to go off the track here has been a problem at outer zone 5, because you can drop wheels very easily here. And a very snappy transition to inside clip 6, nose of the car towards the cone, then flick it back for the last corner, outer zone 7. Well, that's where you're nearly home and dry. Sell the car, full throttle, keep it pinned all the way. And it's a very long corner in real time till the end of the track. And I'll tell you what, the battles have stacked up very unusually here as well, Ian, because we had a lot of strange things happening in qualifying. You saw it earlier on. Becky talking to him. Conor Shannon, last year's champion, out of competition. And Ali Makhseed brings his car all the way from Kuwait, and he sits himself top step. I'm looking forward to seeing some of these very interesting battles. And again, with Drift Masters, you think you can predict it, you never can predict it. Would you have predicted the champion going out top 30 in qualifying? No.
Never. No, you wouldn't, Dave, and you wouldn't. And we look at some of these battles, Dave. There's one that, for me, that stands out massively, and it's one that can go one of two ways. Alex Halovnia versus Jack Shanahan. Now, this could be the tail of the tape for the Shanahans for the rest of the season, potentially. Can Shanahan get through Halovnia? I talked to him earlier. They spent all night on the dyno getting that car ready. But, Dave, what battle are you looking forward to?
Well, I'm all about carnage and chaos, and I'm going to be looking at the amazing battle between Clint Van Oort and Tor Arnikavia. Two guys that are going to leave panels, wheels, and their hopes and ambitions on the track, because those guys don't know how to go 100%. They're always at 110. Look forward to that one. It's going to be, I'm telling you right now, a little bit of contact along the way. But every battle here is going to be incredible. We want to kick things off. We guys, you know, we want to see some amazing drivers take on a very challenging track and fight to that podium. And it all begins here because we are ready for our top 32. We started with 50 drivers before qualifying. We're now down to the top 32. And in the next 2 hours, we'll be down to 16 for the main event. We're kicking things off with a very international affair, Kuwait versus Italy, as we see Ali Makhseed in that GT86 go up against Manuel Vacca in his BMW. We got the experience on Manuel Vacca's side, but we got all the, I suppose, form on track on Ali Makhseed's side as top qualifier with a 94 plus yesterday. Ali Makhseed's going to hope to take this one all the way to the podium, but Manuel Vacca's not going to lie down here.
No, certainly not, Dave. And he's been, again, another driver that's been teasing us with some potential throughout the years. But Ali Makhseed having problems on the last run of practice in that car. They broke the water pump, so they had to change it before they left the line. They got it done, and here they go through the gears. Makhseed to lead out Vacca for the first battle of top 32 in 2024. And look at this, Makhseed gets himself dialed in on that perfect line already. Left foot braking and tucked the nose in of that GT86 into the outside zone. But look at Manuel Vacca. Oh, too close for comfort. Had to back out of it. Now goes for a brave dive. Big contact. Pushes Makhseed clear off track.
I was just about to say, Manuel was getting very aggressive. He had to back off, and then he almost made a poor decision. He said, I'm backing off, and now I'm going to go back in it. But he went in at a point where it's almost a decel for Ali Makhseed. Yeah. So you got one car accelerating to catch up. You got one doing what he was doing yesterday, decelling in an area, and then we get contact. So that's going to come down to the judges. To me, on initial, it looked to me like Manuel just caught a little bit more grip than he wanted and shot forward a little too fast. But again, we'll have to look at that on the replay.
Yeah, we can see you see Ali Makhseed there, the front wheel on that car, loads of camber, so he's broken something on the front of that car. So is Manuel Vacca, but you could see Ali Makhseed in the car rubbing his elbow. So I wonder if at the contact, Makhseed hit his arm maybe on part of the roll cage or the door. Hopefully he hasn't hurt himself. He looks like he was all right. He was driving away from the incident, but it does look like Manuel Vacca's going to need some recovery, Dave.
For sure. And one thing I want to note, because you guys are watching, you know, what this track looks, you know, fast. But believe me, when this is real time, this is very fast.
It's
so when you take a touch, this is like hitting another car on the highway or the motorway at that speed. That's what you got there. And it might not look it initially when you see the track so wide and big. When we watch that in real time here at the circuit, they're hitting each other at top of fourth gear here. So this means that this is a big hit no matter how. And it looked to me like Manuel catches a little bit of grip. He straightens up and sort of shoots through. Like she goes on the left foot brake, but he's on throttle as Manuel comes through. It takes a big bang, like his front and rear wheel.
Yeah, that's big contact. You know, I hadn't been down and watched any drifting on the circuit close up. I was fortunate enough earlier on to get trackside while these guys were driving, and I was standing roughly where you see that tent, which is for our FPV guys, and I stood there and watched the speed that they come through this outside zone, and it is full throttle, fourth gear, Dave. There is no messing around. It looks fast on screen. It's so fast in person.
Yeah, we're just going to have a good look at this one. So it looks to me like you can see Ali just comes off throttle a little bit there just to settle the car on the outside zone, and Manuel's on full attack mode at that point. So you're just going to have to decipher. We're going to see this a lot today, but whether the lead car was maintaining the pace it should be, and the chase car went too fast or caused the incident, or was the lead car slowing a little bit to cause the incident? We're going to see a big bang here, I'd imagine, in Ali Makhseed's cockpit as they come through. Wait for it here. Oh yeah, that left arm flies off the steering wheel. And again, it's almost jolted his hand through the steering wheel as well. So we've got damage to both cars right now. Both, looks like Manuel Vacca is going to need recovery. He's got a broken arm on the front of that car. And we say broken arm is in one of the suspension arms, has snapped, the one that will allow the car to steer. So we got one wheel, I think, not steering. And I think we might have similar issues with Ali Makhseed too.
Yeah, I think Ali Makhseed's managed to limp that car off the circuit back to the paddock. And I think this is going to be, I think we're going to see a few incidences over the course of the day today where there is contact, and there is contact in certain places of the track, and that's going to come down to, like, as you just said, decel, people decelling in zones that weren't right. And you can see, look at the front wheel on there, would be your left, I think.
Yeah, as we're looking at it. So you can see definitely a lot of camber. The front wheel looks like it's broken.
Yeah.
But he's come back to the star line because he's obviously got to be given the word to go and fix it. So what happens in this case, the judges have to make a decision of who is at fault. If Ali Makhseed is deemed at fault, then he would be the cause of the incident and not be allowed to repair his car. However, if it's Manuel Vacca who's been caused at fault, then Ali Makhseed would be the winner of the battle. I think that's where we're going to get to here, depending on what the judges have decided.
Yeah, and they have decided, and I am hearing it in my ears, that Manuel Vacca has been deemed at fault, Dave. So Ali Makhseed will be allowed the time to go repair the car. And unfortunately for Manuel Vacca, he knocked himself out of competition here, Dave.
Yeah, and I think
he knows that.
He does. And I think another thing for me is that I like it is that they're throwing it all out there. There was no backing down. First battle of the whole year, and Manuel Vacca decides, I'm going to go for it, because he knows Ali Makhseed's fast. He knows he's going to be good in the chase. To be honest, you might think he's thrown it away. Well, if he was 3-4 car lengths back, he'd have thrown it away anyway, because he was never going to win the battle from there. So he had to take a risk. He just took too big a risk.
Exactly that, Dave. But I think this is all going to stem from yesterday's qualifying session, where it was so up and down, a whole change on everything in the championship, that everyone now has seen an opportunity. As we keep saying, all the scores, Becky said it, the score's been reset to 0. That means that there is an opportunity for everyone here to prove themselves at round 1, and that could be the foundations to building this championship throughout the season. So you've got to strike while the iron's hot, Dave. You've got to, get yourself in there, get some of those valuable points and prove a point, see what you can do. And I think every driver is going to be pushing 110% because they know that some of these big names yesterday couldn't get the job done.
So we're just getting confirmation that Ali Makhseed will go fix the car. He will then be allowed to complete his second run. Vacca is not allowed to fix his car because he's deemed at fault. Therefore, Ali Makhseed just needs to initiate into the first corner to be able to go through, and he's given the time now until the end of the bracket to go and do that. So Ali Makhseed just needs to fix that front suspension, do a by-run lap essentially, and then he will be through to the top 16. So in many ways, not the way Ali Makhseed would have wanted this, but the way things are going, he'll take anywhere he can an advantage. And now Ali Makhseed, top qualifier, automatically through to the top 16 if he can just get that car through the first corner, which I don't think. I think he can probably do it as it is now, to be honest, but he's just going to make sure that's safe and take an opportunity to get a full lap of the track. Oh,
100%, Dave. The track conditions changing constantly. Drivers saying the more and more runs are done, the more tarmac, the more rubber's laid down on the tarmac, the more that it changes and it's grippier. I spoke to Zalewski earlier on, and he said the car was getting hot. And the reason the car was getting hot was because they'd put so much grip into the car to be able to drive away from the chase car in the lead position. But all that was doing was putting more stress and strain on the engine, the transmission, the differential, and everything else inside the car. That then the car started to fail. So they dialed back the grip, so it was drivable and usable in top 32, but let the car do its thing. I mean, it's a juggling. They are juggling with grip and power and balancing and just trying to get these cars through this weekend.
Yeah, we always say it. I mean, now modern drift cars at the highest level don't want to drift. It sounds strange to say. You're putting so much grip in the car to be fast. Yeah. So what you're doing is you're saying, I'm going to put so much grip in the car that I'm going to put so much power to overpower that grip, but it leaves you with momentum, forward momentum. So imagine you got 900 horsepower and terrible grip, you would just be sitting there going nowhere. So you've got to try and find that balance of, we're now seeing drift cars go through circuits almost as fast as race cars, but they're doing it while spinning the wheels, which is nuts when you think about it, what makes the sport so exciting. But it is a real technical game of how do you can overgrip the car, which makes it so hard to drive that you make mistakes or you break things. So they're all on that knife edge, which is what top-level motorsport is all about. It's about knife edge, the car versus the driver versus the track versus your opponent. A lot going on, and unfortunately for Manuel Vacca, as his car is scooped up and taken off the circuit, it's going to be the end of the weekend for him. But again, went out on his feet, tried his best. He knew he'd lost ground. He'd straightened a little bit through the first corner. He knew he'd made an error. So in his head, immediately, this is how, you know, as a driver, and I've often been in this situation before, you'll literally go, I know I'm down here. I know I'm in a disadvantage now because I've made this mistake. I've got to be incredible for the rest of the run. And you drive a little too hard. You get a little too close. So realistically, if he had just, you know, been a car length behind that run, he would have really been down on points because he made a big error. So he had to try and claw that back to impress the judges. It didn't quite work out, but he did the best, in my opinion, tactic, which is go for it. Yeah,
of course, and he's pushed 110%, and he wouldn't have wanted to go out of that battle or go back to the paddock and talk to the drivers, to the rest of the team and say, you know what, I only gave 50%. He would have wanted to go back and say, I tried 110%, I gave it everything I had, and unfortunately it didn't just pay off today. So there we go, Manuel Vacca steps into his car to get a quick ride back to the paddock, and that will be the end of the weekend for the Italian. We won't see him back on circuit again today, and we look forward to the next battles after we get this car cleaned up and off circuit.
Well, that's what drifting's all about. You know, some other motorsports, you might wait 3-4 hours for a small bit of contact or a bit of door-to-door. You get it in spades here. So basically, we always said if there was a safety car in drifting, it would do 400 laps a weekend of the track. So I think actually you can see the impact actually hits the opposite side of the car, actually takes a huge hit as well. Everything shifts over. You can immediately see the broken suspension on Manuel Vacca's car there as well. So, and that cone is like, I'm just chilling out here, everything's fine, and boom. The cone is taken out. Yeah. No love lost between the cones and the drivers this weekend.
No, nothing whatsoever. Ali Makhseed did a very good job there of skimming over the gravel onto
he had
the
to
service
straighten
road.
the car up and not end up in a wall or a barrier, because that could have happened very easily as well.
Yeah, very quickly, and he managed to find himself on a service road there and get himself back to the start line, which is very helpful.
Yeah, we can see our team here at Ricardo Tormo just making sure that car is secure and ready to take. This is the difficult part. You would say, why would you tow the car off? Well, when the car doesn't steer, you can't tow it because it'll just start wandering and wavering as you tow it. So they have to lift it off the circuit. But very well equipped here in Spain to deal with situations like this. An amazing team behind the scenes. And they have Manuel Vacca ready to be scooped back into his pit area. And they'll put a suspension arm on that car and be able to load it back up and start thinking about round 2, start thinking about Ireland, start thinking about the comeback, right?
Yeah, and that's what it's all about. I think for a lot of these drivers, you know, that didn't make the grade yesterday in qualifying, I think it's all about a second chance, going to Ireland, trying to, you know, reclaim some of those lost points, trying to build on a championship, ready for that road to Poland for the final back in Warsaw again, the PGE never done.
Yeah, and it's very hard to do, especially with, as we say, cars that are temperamental because of how far they're being pushed. It's very hard to do 6 rounds without an issue.
Yeah.
So you look at some of these guys like Manuel Vacca, maybe Conor Shanahan, you know, people like that have not qualified, and they'll be thinking, everyone's not going to have it their own way here for 6 rounds. Things will happen. So you stay in the fight. It's too early in the day to get too disheartened about the whole situation. And Manuel Vacca will send it back as we go to our next battle, which we'll see. Jakub Król from Poland go up against Juha Pöytälaakso from Finland. Jakub Król, brand new car this year, looks fantastic. He looks comfortable too. Jakub Król qualifying in 16th position, and we have Juha qualifying in 17th. So these were very evenly matched in qualifying. This means they'll be very evenly matched in this battle. And Juha with a little bit more experience at the top level, but Jakub with a brand new machine, starting to prove his worth here as well. This is going to be a real game of chess. I'm looking forward to this one. 2 very different cars, however, with the same power plant as far as I'm aware, and they are going to be going out there to absolutely send it into that first corner. And you'll see it as it comes down. It is going to be Jakub Król to initiate in front of Juha. Juha very close on initiation. Big angle from Juha. He's overcommitted a little bit. I think there was contact. I think there was contact immediately there as Juha lost the back end of the car on the rumble strips, which I think slid that car a little faster than he wanted to into Jakub Król. That's my initial response there. We'll have to have a quick look at it again, but to me it looked like he went in close, but he got very wide and he got into the non-grippy area of the track, and the back end just went a little faster than he wanted.
Yeah, he fired that car in, and they were both moving at some serious pace. And I think you're right, Dave. I think he hopped it onto those that curbing, and I think that unbalanced the car, and that pushed him into the back end of Jakub Król's car, but Jakub Król now limping.
Limping very slowly, which would suggest to me that I wonder, did Jakub Król have an issue in the lead position? Maybe, maybe no. He's just waiting
they're turning around.
He's just waiting for Juha to turn around. So I think, you know, I don't see any major damage on either car. So let's have a look at this. The drone will tell us perfectly. Watch Juha comes in super aggressive. Yeah, he's in very, very hot. And then the back end of the car starts to overtake the front end of the car, and he just bumps Jakub Król into that first corner. Meaning that Jakub Król is now on way too much angle to get around the corner. So judges are going to have a look at that to see if Juha was... Does Jakub Król go back on throttle straight away? It looks to me like it's not even at the point really where he's doing that.
It looks to me like he's still in the D cell. So I'm just gonna...
Yeah, to me it looks straight up there that Juha just comes in too hot. And it's... yeah, we have heard from the judges that, yeah, still in the D-cell zone. Juha at fault, Ian. Juha at fault for coming in too hot. The D-cell zone, which is a point where the driver is slowing, is where Jakub Król was.
Right again.
Ian, don't get used to it. It's going to turn very bad for you.
I think this is the year.
You think Spain? Maybe the heat. Maybe it warms up your brain a little bit. I'm just saying. It could be a possibility.
Spent quite a lot of time in the off-season in warm weather.
Have you?
Yeah.
I think it might. You know, there might have been some frozen parts of your brain that are now thawing out, which is good. We're only 6 years into this. It's good. But you can see
he's got damage.
He's got damage on the tyre, definitely. And he's got... It looks to me, that it does.
Well, I'm just getting the information in my ear, Dave, that, Jakub Król was still in the D-cell, so he was right to be slow in the car. Juha Pöytälaakso came in too hot. Król gets a competition timeout to repair that car.
Yeah, so we're 2 battles in, 2 collisions.
2 collisions.
Welcome to Drift Masters 2024. No chill.
Not one clean run of the track yet.
No, nobody chilling out. Nobody.
If you were waiting all the off-season for action,
well,
and high adrenaline,
it's coming.
Here it is. Here it is.
Jakub Król's like, have you seen my brand new car with no marks on it? And boom. And it's gone. So he's got his first tire mark on the side of that Kevlar S14.9, and then Juha now looks like he's ready to go, but he has to be because he's at fault.
Yep.
So he doesn't have the option to go fix his car because he caused the collision. So Juha now, I think he'll know that because Jakub's been given the time to fix it, and I'm sure his team are also listening to us speak up here, Ian.
Of course.
Not that we're knowing too much, but they do know the judges have deemed Juha at fault. So therefore he knows he's going into the next battle with a big disadvantage, and he can't fix the car, and Jakub can fix the car. So not the perfect start for the Finnish driver here. He's under pressure.
He certainly is under pressure, Dave, and you know what?
But hey, it can happen the same way, the other way around.
I was just going to say, this is a tale of 2 halves. You know, he now has to lead in, and we don't know. Król could come in a little too hot and tag him, and he could spin, and we could be in the same situation with him one more time.
Now, the clever thing for Jakub Król here is to not go too close and just do a safe run.
You try and tell these guys to not go.
Yeah, you sit there and go, you know what would be a good idea, and they're like, let's go real fast and real smoky. And they're just like, the adrenaline's up. They want to go and put on a show for the fans. They don't want to do soft runs where it's just, you know, I'll get around. So sometimes we've seen battles so many times just switched completely the other way around. Here's a battle I've been looking forward to. 2 guys that have been...
You chose 2?
I chose this one. They made me choose 1, but this was my second
favorite. I chose 4.
Did you?
Yeah, they said no.
We nearly had the whole top 32.
Yeah,
this battle for me, you've got Oliver Randalu from Estonia, the new car, right? So he's looking strong, he's looking fresh. He was really good in qualifying. And you got Pawel Korpuliński, who's on fire on this track right now. And to me, 2 very technical drivers. Both have hit the podium in Drift Masters before, but they've never hit top step. That's what they want this year. And they're both going to have to start by going through each other, which I like the odds here.
Not through
not physically.
Right.
I mean,
we've seen enough
theoretically in the battle. We want enough people going through each other's doors here now in the first. If we could even get to the second corner,
that'd be nice.
The third corner would be a bonus.
Yeah.
So let's see what happens. We got Pawel, Korpuliński, got the Polish fans in the house. And we have got Oliver Randalu's Estonian crew in the house as well. And this is going to be an interesting one. I think 2 good-looking cars too.
I think for me, Pawel Korpuliński is looking so dialed. That team looks so super professional. I went down there, walked around their paddock. Everyone was chilled. The cars are really clean. The cars are running well, they're looking good. And Korpuliński, we know, is such a good technical line driver. I think
I mean, a lot of people saying, you know, last year Poland could have been his night.
Yeah.
So, you know, he's got that high from last year to continue that momentum. Randalu lost a little bit of momentum, but it's a fresh start this year. Let's see who comes out on top as Korpuliński fires in. Late initiation from Korpuliński, but he gets it done, and it's much cleaner from both of these guys. And you can see Randalu now just losing a little bit of ground, but Korpuliński not on a huge amount of angle. They both make it through that inner zone as they transition back. Korpuliński got big angle. Randalu, oh, a little mistake from Randalu. Had to come off throttle, and it's messed him up massively. And he couldn't get back going again. The tyres gripped up, and Korpuliński with no such issues as Randalu now tries to make a statement at the end of the run. But that looked to me like Oliver Randalu got a little lost in the smoke, a bit of understeer, and it nearly cost him the whole run.
Yeah, that was a big mistake from Oliver Randalu there. Korpuliński looking dialed though, Dave. Absolutely dialed. He's in the zone, and you know, I think every driver believes it could be their year. Let's take a look back from initiation now, as Randalu gives Korpuliński that room to manoeuvre. Straight line initiation from Korpuliński, no messing around. He wanted to get it dialed, wanted to get into that second inside zone. As Randalu, look, picks up the throttle, waits, then starts to make a little push, looks for the back bumper at S14, but it's almost too late because he's positioned himself wrong on the circuit. And that here, as he comes down, it made a big mistake. Look at the way he had to flick it on angle, and that upset him. And he comes on the brakes early, finds himself in the middle of the circuit, and he knows he's in the wrong place. But then when he transitions, boom, he's completely wrong once again. And Korpuliński is on an absolute flyer.
Well, this is the thing, and if you're new to drifting, and it's obviously a tale of two halves, you got each takes turn at lead and chase. The judges are looking big time at lead.
Yeah.
So to me, and again, I am not a judge, I'm like you guys watching on, it looked to me like Korpuliński didn't make any major errors there in the lead position, which meant now it puts the pressure on Randalu to be good in the chase. And I think he just had, I think at one point he went on the brakes and he lost so much momentum that he went back on the throttle. The car just gripped instead of spinning the wheels because it was kind of halfway point of enough momentum. And I mean, one error. I mean, in many ways, it'll be a tough day for the judges in terms of contact, I think. But in other ways, the track itself kind of separates everybody because it's so difficult. So it looks like Ali Makhseed has fixed his car to come back for his bye run. I mean, that's a suspension arm, no big deal for the team there. And Ali Makhseed is just kind of having the dream weekend here.
I mean, yeah, it couldn't be going, I mean, it is a dream. It couldn't be going any better at the moment. He's found himself in the top 16. He's first place qualifier. He's bagging all the points at the moment. We do swap him around on the line, though. Randalu now to lead out Korpuliński for a spot in that top 16. And we can hear, or we can see, sorry, our start line marshal Marcin talking to Randalu. Oh, I think where he hit the cone, it's kind of dislodged that front splitter, and it was banging up and down. But Randalu, I think Randalu's like, I don't care about the body panels. Let's just send it. I want to try and reclaim something of this battle because he knows he made a massive mistake.
Yeah, so this is going to be all on Korpuliński now. How does he manage the aggression here? Does he go too close and throw it away? Does he stay back? Here we go. This is going to be interesting to see. Randalu's front splitter flapping in the wind as they go into the first corner. Nice entry for both drivers as Randalu now gets on the throttle, but a little wide of that inner zone. Randalu making some errors, which has put Korpuliński in a weird place, and Korpuliński makes a big error there, stays off throttle. And again, it looks to me like the lead run will be really scrutinised from Oliver Randalu there through the first corner as they come back down to that last corner. Looks to me like Korpuliński getting back in his business now, up onto the door as they come around. Very clean finish to the run. However, the start a little sketchy. I think the judges are going to look at that inner zone missed by Oliver Randalu to say, did he push too wide, leaving Korpuliński in a position where he just had to drive for a small moment. So you might initially look at Korpuliński and say, hey, he's just driving around there. This is Drift Masters, not Drive Masters. But did he get put in a position where he didn't have it, or did he make an error?
Well,
what do you think, Ian?
Look, Dave. Yeah, I think you're right, Dave. Look at this. He goes nice and wide on outside zone 1. Dabs the handbrake again after. It is probably at the end of the decel zone, but he knows he made a mistake because look at the way he positions the car. He's kind of working the steering wheel, trying to get to that outside zone 3. Comes down the hill, and Korpuliński really can't adjust because he's been pushed into the wrong line. Korpuliński finds himself in the middle of the circuit, kind of gets it back here on that transition on that inside zone. This one's going to be a tough one for the judges. I think this is going to be a real slugfest for the judges this weekend.
I don't know what, I mean, we're only presuming and assuming, that's all we can do. But what I think is going to happen here is Randalu's line isn't great through the first corner, so that's his problem.
Yeah.
They're going to then assess, did Korpuliński deal with that, or did he make more of a problem for himself by not even going closer or going on throttle? So the question there is that we know Randalu made an error, but which was the bigger error? Was it Randalu's error, or was it Korpuliński's reaction to that? So that's what they're going to discuss. I think we'll safely say Korpuliński taking an advantage, a big one from the first run. But then it could all switch around if they think Korpuliński could have handled that situation better. We don't know. We're mere mortals.
We're going to learn, though. We're
mere mortals, Ian.
Over the day, we're going to learn, Dave. We're going to find out exactly what's going on. And these guys parked up, looking at the big screen, waiting for the decision to drop in. It's going to be the first real decision we get, Dave.
Yeah, first decision of the top 32 that hasn't ended in a collision, and it nearly did. So here we are, 2 drivers awaiting their fortunes, and judges are going to have to make a decision on this. We might get a quick word with David Callas after this just to see if we were in the ballpark of what was going on. But let's see which way the judges go, where they're awaiting the decision. Looks like judges have locked their scores in. They have indeed. First person to guarantee themselves into the top 16 is Oliver Randalu. Oliver Randalu gets the win, and I'm going to go straight over to David Callis. David, we were talking about Oliver, the mistake from Korpuliński in the chase. Was it caused by Randalu? But you guys probably thinking he made his own errors there.
Yeah, Dave, we were also looking and assessing exactly that point. Yeah, there was some mistake from Randalu. He adjusted the speed before inner zone 2. However, Korpuliński was quite far enough, so he had possibility to close up the proximity, use that mistake of Randalu, and he did not use those open doors to get closer, and he just made his mistake, and we don't think that it was necessary to go straight after that adjustment from Randalu, and that's why we blame that big mistake afterwards, which happened at after inner zone 2 to Korpuliński.
Makes sense to me. We were discussing it, Dave. I can see the point perfectly. Yeah, he could have done more.
He could have done more.
He could have done a lot more there. Anyway, we move on to our next battle. Another upset in the top 32. Randalu taking down Korpuliński, the higher qualifier. We now move on to two crazy people on the track. We got Diogo Correia from Portugal taking on Kevin Pesur. Two guys, shining lights, shining stars last season. Ready for their moment, but unfortunately they got to go head-to-head now in the 32, so someone's going to go at 32. Kevin Pesur, right up the order last year. Top 10 in the championship. Diogo showing moments of brilliance, a podium in Finland, but couldn't back it up for the next couple of rounds, but he had some highlight reel moments. This one's going to be very, very interesting to watch.
It certainly is, Dave. Off the line they come. Kevin Pesur in that brand new build leads in. Diogo Correia, big flick across the circuit for Kevin Pesur. But look at this from Correia, dives straight into it, looks for the back bumper of that BMW as they both come through, and Correia's lost in the smoke. Correia goes wide, gets lost in the smoke as Kevin Pesur now works his way down the circuit through these zones. As he transitions around, you can see Correia trying to regain some lost ground, and Kevin Pesur gets into that final outside zone, slams the throttle down and works his way across the line.
Another thing we didn't mention, you got to be in the right place on the track.
Oh, look at Correia.
Correia knows because he went too wide.
Yep.
He ended up in the smoke trail. So what you want to do in the chase position is tuck up onto the door or the rear quarter panel. Diogo Correia knows instantaneously he got stuck in the smoke. Now he's got a white windscreen, and all of a sudden he comes out of that, I'm in the wrong place, and he knew it straight away. Watch this. Diogo wants to tuck up on the inside of Kevin Pesur, but he doesn't. Watch. He goes in at too much pace, and he loses ground here, putting him in the wrong place. He should be right up on the door, and I'm telling you, even if he didn't go off there, he would have been so far behind at that point anyway that it would have exaggerated the situation. But it looks like Diogo, watch his front windscreen here. All of a sudden,
oh man, you can't see anything.
White out. He had no idea where he is, and when he comes out of it, he's like, oh no, I'm not supposed to be over here at all.
Look at this, you can see him, he realises in the car. Look, you can't even see him where he's gone off that wide, and you can see in the background there, he's completely lost where he is on circuit, has to adjust, get himself back into it, makes a big dive here. Look at the pace he carries into that outside zone and bangs the cones off the circuit. I think he's angry at that point, Dave, because he knows he made a silly mistake, and that's going to cost him the run.
The run, yes. The battle, maybe not.
Yeah.
So who knows? Because we've watched a lot of things happen here. This is not going to be a straightforward day, I feel. I feel we're all going to be along for the ride, ladies and gentlemen. We're in for some crazy stuff. The fake headlight on Kevin Pesur's car falling apart with the sheer speed he's taking around the course. Just seeing things you've never seen before. Diogo heads back to the start line. Now Diogo's in the lead, which is an even harder place to fight back from. As Kevin Pesur now, he can smell blood. He can say, hey, I know I've got the advantage. Spotter will be on the radio saying, oh, he got lost in your smoke. You got the advantage. Don't do anything silly, Kevin. Just stay in the game, but don't get stuck in the smoke either, because don't make the same mistake that Diogo did. So this is really interesting to watch.
This is very interesting to watch, and this is going to be, again, another story, another point to pick up on, and there's going to be so many of these little things this weekend at this circuit that you're going to have to get absolutely perfectly right. This is really testing these drivers. First round, we've put them under some serious pressure, Dave, to perform.
When you start, oh, look at this.
Oh, we've had an upgrade as well. I forgot to mention this. I went down to see Martin earlier on the start line, and he said, I've got new tools for this year.
He is the handiest man around.
He said, I've got a grinder now. Yep. He said, so there's nothing I can't do.
He said once he had anything with a battery up there, he was ready. He said, I could even swap an engine.
Yeah. Yep.
I won't hold him to it, and he's not allowed. But
no.
The idea that Martin is allowed to adjust aero on the car, so he's not allowed to fix anything. He's just allowed to remove things or secure. So if you're wondering why Martin is faster than your local mechanic, is that he's only really just tearing things off or sellotaping
with a grinder.
Yeah, with a grinder. I mean, it's not pretty,
but it works.
But it works, and it keeps the show on the road. We love him for it. So here we go. They're off the line. It is Kevin Pesur in the chase position, Diogo Correia in the lead position. Diogo now going for that big flick initiation. Kevin Pesur takes a big risk, going very wide, and Kevin Pesur has a big issue now. Diogo Correia can start to pull a gap, and Kevin Pesur has got to start worrying about is he in the race at all here as it starts to swing back the other way. Kevin Pesur's in trouble here. Diogo misses some of those outer zones, and he's going as fast as he can through that course. Kevin Pesur catching up at the very end, getting back into the fight, but it's not pretty, and it's giving the judges something to talk about. Oh, Kevin Pesur making hard work of that.
He did, and he did exactly what he shouldn't have done. He went too hard on that initiation, and we talked about it, and God, man, his spotters will be saying to him, you had one job, not push too hard.
But you know, I think it's if you watch that first corner, I'm just going to call it, if you go outside of the rumble strip on the curb, you lose all traction. And watch the rear of Kevin Pesur's car. He initiates and watch the rear wheels, gets up on that curb at one wheel, and he starts to wash, and now he's way out, like he's off one wheel where he shouldn't be nowhere, and he's lost a lot of ground. Now he does well.
I think he goes 2 wheels off here, Dave.
He's not far off it. I don't know about 2 wheels. He's definitely 1 wheel. Jury's out.
Jury's out there, Dave.
Jury's out on that one.
Look at Correia, he is absolutely up and gone, and
misses this outer zone, Correia, though, so he is coming through pretty fast, but the transition's a little late. However, Kevin Pesur is just firing through the course, trying to get any sort of proximity he can, and that's the fastest run of the day, I'd say, for the second half of the course from Kevin Pesur, because he's trying everything he can to catch up, but he made hard work of it. He had the advantage, he just needed to stay in the mix, and unfortunately, it's now made this a little bit more of a tricky situation for the judges.
It certainly has. Yeah, I mean, we can see him. We've got the door open today, Dave, so we can actually see them, see what they're doing.
Yep.
Make sure they're working.
However, remember that Diogo may have put wheels off the track himself when he was lost in the smoke, so I'm just thinking, you know, they could balance off here. But Diogo Correia has had a good look there and knows, well, he was nowhere near me, so I might have a shout here. Fans will know as well that this one is not as easy or as simple to call, so we're going to wait for a decision from the judges for this one. But I'll be honest and say that I would say the biggest mistake was from Correia, but he did get back into it, and it's kind of a similar mistake both ways, really, isn't it?
I'm going to say this one equals out.
Oh, I don't know. Judges will make that decision for us. We don't have to. What way is it going to go? And it is going to be for Kevin Pesur from Estonia, gets the win. And Kevin Pesur gets the win. I mean, you got to look at it this way. Bigger mistake from Correia, but he also straightens when he goes in the smoke. Remember, he kind of goes off angle. So that's kind of what I think happened there, is that looks to me like Kevin Pesur did keep the car in drift and Correia did not. Yeah,
I've just been told that it was only 1 wheel off circuit for Kevin Pesur, not 2 wheels, so it wasn't a 0, so it was only a small marking down on the points, but still enough. Big mistake on the first half of the run from Correia, knocked himself out, and I think Correia knew that. He was
clutching at straws.
Yeah,
he knew they would have to take a massive off-track, 3 wheels off from Kevin Pesur to get him back in. And Kevin Pesur is probably going, whew, I got away with that, and I wasn't too sure what was going on there.
Yeah.
So he won't get it that easy again.
No, he won't. Well, we're back on the line. It is going to be Ali Makhseed. He's going to do a buy run. I've been told in my headset he's going to initiate, and then he's going to turn around, just get his result, go back. He doesn't need to complete a full pass of the circuit.
So
he just needs to prove he can initiate.
And people, why would he do this? The reason being is that he's proving that his car is mechanically able to do the run. So he's not actually trying to complete a run.
No.
He's just proving that once he gets through clipping zone 1, he can prove the car can accelerate, initiate, and drift. But then he can stop, because that's all he needs to do. So instead of watching a big run for no reason and him putting pressure on the car for no reason, he probably hasn't the car at 100%, and he'll take that time between now and 16 to get it 100%. This is just to get him through into top 16. He's going to initiate into the first corner, get the car on power, prove to the judges that he's decided just to go for a whole run anyway. So he was going to do that, and then he decided, nah, I might keep going a bit more.
Fair enough. You know what, Ali? He's by running.
He just loves drifting.
He loves drifting.
Do more drifting is better than less drifting in Ali Makhseed's head, and he also gets another practice run, which is always going to be valuable.
And a full test of the car. Full throttle, 4th gear, arm out the window, give him a little wave.
Little wave saying, you know what, I'm in the top 16.
I'm happy.
And I would imagine this is, he's already now broken the record for the highest finish for a Kuwaiti driver in Drift Masters already. Because he's got a top qualifier and the top 16 entrant, but I think is as far as he's gone before. So from that perspective, this is groundbreaking for the sport even.
Yep.
Seeing drivers from the Middle East come over to Drift Masters, and I'll tell you what, looking like they could steal the show here.
And I mean, look, if he carries on the way he is, he could steal the show. This is a very nice run as well. He was nice and wide, a little shallow there. He had to make an adjustment coming into that inside zone. But apart from that, Dave, the initiation in that for a second inside zone was beautiful.
Yeah, I'd imagine the car not 100% after the contact. No. So I think all he's doing here is just picking up his hello to the crowd, saying to them, thank you very much for all the support. He is a super nice guy. I know Ali for probably 10 years now, and he's just been a real ambassador for the sport, especially in the Middle East, with the professionality that he brings and the level of competition. He's raised the game over there, and now to come to this level at Drift Masters, where all the champions hang out, well, he is an ex-champion from Oman, so he is looking like every bit of it. And now we talk about champions, well, you can't ignore this man, Piotr Więcek, 3-time over European standards champion, Piotr Więcek, but he's in a new chassis this weekend. He's had some troubles. He's been fighting it, but he's still fighting enough. And of course, what you want is someone to go against that's quite easy to get along with, that's not going to do anything crazy. What you don't want is Max Heidrich from Germany, who is at any moment ready to put a 100-point run on the board or have a massive collision. That's why he's one of my favorite drivers in the world. However, Heidrich knows Więcek. He's lost to Więcek in the past, and this, he might look across and say, he's not so used to this Supra. He's had a couple issues this weekend. Is this my moment? This one's going to be interesting.
It certainly is, as we see Piotr Więcek fire in that brand new Toyota Supra. Max Heidrich shallows up the angle, waits for Więcek to dial himself in. Więcek goes super wide. Heidrich on a better line than Więcek, as Więcek wobbles on that zone, takes down the cone, and look at Max Heidrich hanging back maybe, trying to keep it clean as he now dives through that inner zone. Max Heidrich makes a mistake. He goes super wide, almost drops a wheel in the gravel as Heidrich and Więcek struggle in the outside zone across the line.
Oh, there's about 500 things happening there at the one time in that battle. There's big mistakes from both drivers, and I think Max Heidrich should have had a bigger advantage, but he made a big mistake on the last corner. He went in too fast, way too aggressive, and I think Więcek's car just picked up and went a little bit better than Heidrich's car. You can see that the snaps are going in the grandstand. This is, for me, a mistake from Więcek. He washes way too wide. Watch this. He's supposed to start on trial early. He was way out here, and then he has to stall up to get it going again, and he's almost completely straight. That's a full straight in there. But Heidrich kind of adapts to it, and I'm going, oh, Max Heidrich has an advantage. But Piotr now starts to show his class as he gets the second half of the course much better than Heidrich. And watch Heidrich dives through here way too fast. He's out here. Does he put two wheels off? Oh, he's definitely putting up two wheels off there at the end for me. So big deduction for me from Heidrich for the two wheels off. They can also lean on Więcek here and say, would Heidrich have been doing this if Więcek had given him the opportunity to be closer early in the run? That's when you're getting really complicated. The judges will be discussing that. But Heidrich makes the mistake at the end. Więcek definitely has a straight, and I'm not sure what way the judges will look at that. Is it enough for a zero? So again, I don't know.
No.
But the judges will explain this one to us. But for me, Heidrich here is two wheels off. If he even touched that gravel, he was done for there. But he doesn't. So he's still in it. Więcek's still in it. But I'm just going to wonder which way the judges are going to look at that.
Well, look, I'm going to go back to what the judges said to us earlier on when they said they're weighing heavily on the lead car. More focus is placed on the lead car. So for me, the error in the first inside zone or inside zone 2 is going to really
I wonder does Więcek have an issue with the car shutting off there? Because that's very uncharacteristic for him. Something weird happened there, and I don't think it may have been Peter's fault. I think you look at the car just came late on power, and then all of a sudden had no power. That car is over 900 horsepower. It'll light tires at any point, and he had no smoke coming from the tires. There's got to be something going on.
Well, we'll find out as we swap.
Max Heidrich is the loose wire.
He is the loose wire.
In his car.
It is.
But, and he went way too fast at the end. But Heidrich puts a big lead run in here. He will know from his spotter that if he has a clean lead run, that will overshine Więcek's mistake on the lead run. And if they are weighing heavily on the lead runs here in Drift Masters this year, well, that's Heidrich's chance. Więcek's got to be on the door. It has to be on the door the whole way around.
It has to be, but this lead run could be the answer that we need right now. Goes super wide, dials on big angle, and now Max Heidrich looks for that inside zone. Więcek gets lost in the smoke, and he straightens once again. Więcek all over the show. He just can't seem to get himself into the groove this weekend. Heidrich disposes of the rear bumper on this Nissan 200SX as he fires into that final outside zone. Więcek is lost in a cloud of smoke as Max Heidrich absolutely flies away through that final outside zone.
Yeah, there's something definitely up with Więcek's car. There's definitely an issue. You can see it again. It just shut off. He couldn't get the car on power again. Something strange happening there. It's very uncharacteristic for Piotr Więcek to be having major errors. We don't see major, actually we very see any errors from Więcek. We see car issues.
Yeah.
And it looks like they may have started the season the same way, because to me on that first corner, if you look at now, Heidrich goes to the moon on the initiation, takes out every cone. Does he put two wheels off on the initiation as well? Ian, you got to look at that as well.
Oh,
He's up on
too much going on.
Yeah, he's up on the curb there. Watch the initiation from Heidrich. He does look like he drops two wheels here and goes way too wide, but then Więcek makes big errors as well, so I wouldn't like to be a judge. So watch this. Więcek's on this side of the track, kind of does a weight transfer, but I think he gets too much of it. Watch rear wheel. It looks to me like he's two wheels over the curb.
Oh no, I think he's on the line.
And then Więcek comes through here, but watch Więcek's rear wheels. He goes on throttle, and then like nothing kind of happens, and then all of a sudden, right here, same place, Więcek's car shuts off. He's on throttle and the car is shutting off, so I'm not sure what's happening there. And then obviously Max Heidrich is going 487 miles an hour from there on in. And the last corner, he doesn't.
Więcek, a big mistake there. Again, look, in the smoke, almost straightens. There's a lot of mistakes.
Watch Heidrich, he doesn't even handbrake for this corner. He just goes boom on full throttle again. So it's not pretty from either driver. It's who made the bigger mistake. Więcek definitely has two very big significant shutdowns, which to me look mechanical.
Yeah.
Because he's on throttle and all of a sudden, why would he go off throttle in that position? It makes no sense. And then you've Heidrich, who is wayward, is probably the right word. He's on throttle everywhere, but he's nearly on too much throttle and angle everywhere. So judges are going to have a good look at this. Watch Więcek in the chase position here. As they come through, look, Heidrich goes on absolutely gangster angle here, like it's unbelievable. But he's got the front wheels through the inner zone, or the outer zone. He goes wide. He does get this inner zone, I think, Heidrich, more or less. So hard to know, very hard to know what's happened. Max Heidrich looks smiley and a nervous face for Peter Więcek. This might be the tail of the tape here. Which way the judges go? It's going to be Max Heidrich gets the win. Max Heidrich gets the win, and I'm sure when he saw Peter Więcek's name come out of the hat yesterday, he would have thought, oh, this could be another 32 exit for me. But he is very, very ecstatic about this. Not the prettiest way to win, but I mean, I think Więcek still has work to do on that. Oh, look at that, the devastation on the Workhouse team. Just, like, you know, new build, get in there. High hopes, but same issues for Więcek as last year. The car let him down last year, and a brand new build seems to be the same issue again this time around. Very unfortunate. And again, if you told me yesterday morning you'd have Conor Shannon out qualifying and Peter Więcek out in top 32, I would have not been. I would wonder the odds you'd get for this in a bookmaker.
I'm just
4,000 to 1 maybe.
Do you know? I'm just looking, thinking a lot of the big names are not yet in the show.
No, and right now, you've got
Ali Makhseed. We're going to decide the Jakub Król Pöytälaakso battle in a minute, but for me, the pendulum is swaying more to Król because of Pöytälaakso's incident.
Agreed, and that would also be an upset for me.
Of course.
I think you'd look at the level of ex-European champion Pöytälaakso and say he's the favourite against Jakub Król in a brand new car. Pöytälaakso in a car he knows very well.
Yeah, and he's out. He could be, well,
he could be out.
Potentially, he could be out. You've got Randalu, Pesur, Heidrich, already the top 16 stacking up with those mid-pack drivers that are now shining.
I'm going to be honest, I like a bit of a shake-up.
Oh, I love it.
I like seeing guys who've been working hard for a couple of years starting to get some reward, and it's one of those crazy days in Spain where anything can happen. And right now we go into a battle where Jakub Król has the advantage against Juha Pöytälaakso. If Jakub Król can just keep this clean, which seems to be a massive issue for everybody today, he will go through, but Juha still may have some tricks up his sleeve.
Well, he's an old dog in this game, and look at this from Jakub Król. He keeps it very sensible, misses that outside zone, but plays the game. Pöytälaakso fires that car, and a little correction on the steering wheel now as Król corrects the steering. He's keeping it clean, he's keeping himself safe and out of danger, as Pöytälaakso now starts to lay down a very nice lead line. Good line into this final outside zone. Jakub Król needs to make something here, needs to make a bit of an improvement, dive up onto the door maybe. He's in the zone and across the line. Pöytälaakso lays down exactly what he needed to do.
Yeah, pretty strategic from Jakub Król there. He didn't go over-committing. He didn't do anything that he knew would put him in a position where he could make a massive error and throw himself all the battle away. So I think that's the right call. If you're Jakub Król and you've got an ex-European champion in Juha Pöytälaakso from Finland on the ropes, well, you don't go swinging haymakers. You just stand back and let the points build up, you know? So, the boxing reference for you there, Ian.
I like that, yeah. Like that, yeah. A haymaker. I haven't heard that for years. Yeah. A haymaker.
So, basically, he just said, I'm just going to do a bit of drifting here behind him. I'm not going to do too much.
And he could afford to make a few mistakes.
Yeah, he didn't make any major ones. He just said, I'm going to be average. I'm involved.
I'm here.
I'm involved. But I'm not,
show.
like, pressing the issue. And, I mean, if it is Juha's mistake on the first run, the judges are going to say, well, we're not going to reward Jakub for this.
No.
But he hasn't made as big an error as Juha has. So, fortunately, that's sometimes the way it goes.
Yeah, of course, of course. And I think you have to
Juha will be furious because he didn't get through the first zone without throwing the battle away. So that's a very hard thing to swallow, especially when you come from Finland to Spain. And if you're looking at the map, that's a far, far away.
Yeah, it's quite a way.
Quite a spin.
Quite a spin, as the boys would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a little bit of this as well. And something else that we're going to see across today is guys playing it very, very tactical. They're going to be playing a safe game. If they know they have an advantage, I don't think you're going to see them pushing each other around the track.
And there's a lot of tactics involved in drifting. I mean, in an honest way of how aggressive you go. A lot of guys will watch other battles and say, well, they're all thrown away by being too aggressive. I need to not be too aggressive.
Yeah.
So it looks to me like we have Jakub Król and Juha Pöytälaakso now coming to get a decision. And we will wait to see what that is. I think it's going to be an obvious one.
Yeah.
I don't see anything. You never know. You never know. But I feel this will be an obvious one. Pretty obvious one.
They're just enjoying themselves in the sun, waving to the crowd. They're having fun, Dave.
They're having a good time. Absolutely roasting, though, I'd say, in those 3-layer fire suits. Yeah.
Sitting in a red-hot race car.
Well, we went outside and we were in T-shirts and shorts, and we said, oh, it's pretty warm here.
Pretty warm. I went back into the air-conditioned office.
And I looked at these guys out there in pretty much cars with no windows that go down and no air conditioning, and they're doing a good job out there. So let's see which way it goes. It is going to be the obvious choice. Jakub Król from Poland, new build, new start, beats Juha Pöytälaakso top 16. Not a bad start to the new car, right?
I mean, what a way to announce a new chassis and announce a new car. Absolutely flying in it so far. I'm excited to see how he adapts into that chassis as we move through, see if he can get further in the competition. And we've got a real mix of names in our top 16 already, and we're moving forward. It's going to be Michal Reichert to take on Adam Zalewski. And look, the way things are going, Zalewski's probably sat in that car saying, hey, if you're a big name in European drifting right now, it's not your weekend.
Here's the thing, Zalewski's the favourite, ex-champion, all that. However, Zalewski's had a pretty, by his standards, poor 2023.
Yep.
He sees all the guys in the championship above him falling out. He's up against Michael Reichert, who will go in here as the underdog. And I think Zalewski's going to say, if I can get through here, I might not have to meet a Shanahan or, you know, a Więcek. Could be my weekend. So he's very aggressively coming at the blocks, though, is Zalewski as he comes out. He's really, really on the door. Oh, very wide, strange initiation from Zalewski, but he makes it work as Reichert goes in and far. Look at this, Zalewski right on his door as they come through that first corner. Zalewski's got all the talent. Look at this, just playing with Reichert. Wow, what the transition, the first door to door. Zalewski, how's he getting away with it? He thought he got a little lost in the smoke. He did get a little lost in the smoke, but he kept it. And that was very close from Adam Zalewski, who gets back into it through the last corner. Very brave run from Zalewski. And I got to say, Michael Reichert's lead was exceptional as well.
I was just going to say, Dave, Zalewski did an incredible job in that chase position, but my God, Michal Reichert gave him all of the opportunity there in that lead. That lead was probably the best we've seen him throw down all weekend. And watch this. Yeah,
and a lot of potential for this track now, because you can see when it works, it really does work. Michal Reichert fires in. Zalewski with a weird initiation, kind of waited for the weight transfer, but he was right there. Look at the smoke pouring on top of Adam Zalewski, but he does the right job. He stays on the inside of it. He's got good vision of Reichert here. They both stay on angle. Reichert, look at this, perfect on the inner zone. Both these are. This is where Zalewski makes a big dive. Reichert's not in the right place. He misses the zone. So that would be Michael Reichert's problem there. And Zalewski had to back off because he was in the wrong area, Michael Reichert. That's my first initial thought. So I would say that's a bit of a masterclass from Adam Zalewski and Michael Reichert, where we thought he had the perfect run. When you look at it, but the drone never lies.
The drone never lies.
He missed the outside zone, which means that he shallowed the track, which means Zalewski thought he was going to have more space.
And he didn't.
And he didn't. So he had to kind of go back at it again. So from that perspective, I'm going to say big advantage to Adam Zalewski there. Not that it means anything, because I have no authority to make any decisions. But
no, you can't force any kind of favourability here, Dave.
This is where it gets weird. Zalewski goes because he thinks Reichert's going to go wide. He goes wide. He actually gets the zone, Zalewski, but Reichert does not get the zone. But then it makes Zalewski's kind of transition a bit messy then. Who knows?
It was a strange transition as well there from that outside zone. You could see Reichert kind of moved the car and then moved it again to make sure he got that inner zone.
Yeah, so now Zalewski, I think he's done as much as he can do in the chase. So now he's in the lead. So can Zalewski put down a big lead run? However, I'm just looking at qualifying scores and saying he did qualify in 29th, if I'm not mistaken, yesterday, Zalewski. Sorry, 20th. 20th. So he was way down the order, so he's going to have to improve from that. If he can get a top 10 style qualifying score in the lead position, Reichert can't really do much here. So this is kind of on Zalewski now. With this new judging system of weighing more on the lead driver, I'm going to say this could be Zalewski's, because he's a very tidy driver.
Do you know what? This early in the day, where everything that's already happened, I'm not going to. I want to say too much about things like that. You've jumped way too much in. I'm going to just see how this unfolds off through the chicane. They go through the gears. Look at this as Zalewski fires in. Reichert does a strange initiation now. Waits for Zalewski to get on power, and Reichert starts to get himself lost in the smoke. Look at this. He's going to go wide, very wide, as Reichert now left for dead as he re-initiates, hits the cones on that inside zone, and leaves Zalewski to walk away with this one as he looks for that outside zone, fires up the rear tyres, gets some cooking as he comes across the line. Reichert has nothing in it, and the car catches on fire on the back end.
Oh. not going to say that I called that was going to happen because I had no idea. But
you had no idea.
I did think that if Zalewski could just pull a good lead run, it'd be tough for Reichert to follow it because he's very fast, Zalewski.
He is very fast. For me, it all went wrong on the initiation from Reichert. He kind of wanted to go down on the inside. It didn't happen because it put him on the wrong line. Look at this. He goes very wide. He's 4 wheels off track there, Dave.
4 wheels off track is what I think, and I'm getting a little nod across the room from the judges also saying 4 wheels off track from Michael Reichert, which means we know what's going to happen.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, and to be honest, even if he got 3 wheels off track, I think Zalewski would still have got the call. I think if he had 2 wheels off track, I still think Zalewski would have got the call. So it wasn't just down to that. But yeah, you can see straight away here. If you're not even an expert judge like our guys, you can see that this does not look like Michael Reichert is winning this battle at this point.
Oh, I just had a fall, Dave.
What did you ever thought?
This could be Zalewski's year.
Bit of luck. Didn't get any of it last year.
He didn't have none last year, and you can't be that unlucky.
Well, the thing about Adam Zalewski is no question of talent and ability. He's already done it. He already won Drift Masters in the past.
Yep.
So it's been the car. And then again, Conor Shanahan's car last year worked when he needed it to work.
Yep.
And when it was broken, it didn't matter. Zalewski had it all the opposite way around.
Yep.
The car worked in practice, broke in the competition. Looks like Conor Shanahan and Zalewski are having opposite fortunes now.
The car's still
very
on
much
fire.
on fire. Michael Reichert's car is on fire.
I did tell everyone it was on fire. I did say...
You'd said it quite a while ago.
I said quite a while ago the car is on fire, and nobody listened, Dave. Nobody listens.
Well, they can't hear you, so that's fair.
Okay,
and also, this is a huge track, so and again, what I think happened there is the tyre just lit. We probably had a backfire from an exhaust lighting up a lot of rubber that's in there, and Adam Zalewski, straight out of the car, a little concerned.
Yeah.
As he saw Michael Reichert trying to go back to the future by him. Michael Reichert was trying to go back to the start of the battle.
He wanted to start again.
He was trying to hit 88 miles an hour and go back to the start of the battle and not make the same mistake. Good tactic, didn't work out on this occasion. Thankfully, everybody's okay. It looks to me like quite a simple, controlled problem there. And it happens quite a lot these days now, this fire on the rear. You get so much built up rubber on the inside of the arch that when you have a backfire and the rubber's so hot, it just lights it. And luckily, it's not a fuel problem or an oil problem, so that makes it a lot more sketchy. But yeah, this looks to me like that's some unburnt rubber there, just lit off the exhaust. And now that you know everyone's okay, it's a cool shot.
Oh yeah, super cool.
And not much damage to the car. This would just be a little wrap.
It's nice. I like that. Looks warm.
It looks it's warm enough here without any more heat on the track. Adam Zalewski, I think, is going to know which way this one's going to drop in. It's for a place in the top 16 at round 1, and indeed it is going to be Adam Zalewski getting the win. And you can see not just a celebration, but relief. Not starting the season the way he ended last season with a lot of problems. He's happy. New engine this year. New Adam Zalewski, maybe. Yeah,
I mean, look, he looks on form. He looks happy. Most of last year, we see this young man. He looked dejected. He looked down. He just wasn't in the zone. And this year, I think he's come back with a new attitude. He's looking confident, and he must be feeling confident now. Got that first battle out of the way. Job's done. We go back to the line. Orjan Nilsen to take on Juha Rintanen. And what a turn of tables, Dave. Orjan Nilsen qualifying 5th. Juha Rintanen qualifying 28th after an engine change in practice.
Well, the first run on the track that Juha Rintanen did was his first qualifying run.
Yeah.
So he's had 2 laps practice in qualifying, and they got a little bit more this morning. Now he's back to business. So this is going to be a tough battle.
It certainly is going to be a tough battle, David. But Orjan Nilsen was looking on form, you know, 5th place qualified, just missed out on those showdown battles yesterday afternoon. And I know he would have wanted those. And Orjan Nilsen's another guy that, you know, we've been saying for a long time now. It's time to shine. It's time to, you know, get the job done. But he's not got an easy competitor. A big initiation from Orjan Nilsen. He fires that car and he's off throttle for a long time. Juha Rintanen deals with it, though. Finds the side of that big Toyota Sora now. Wavers and wonders in the background as Juha Rintanen waits for Orjan Nilsen to get himself down. And Rintanen dived at the wrong point and put himself in an over-rotation. Orjan Nilsen fires in to that final outside zone, lights up the tyres, and he'll come across the line and realise that Rintanen isn't there, and this one is one in the bag.
I'm trying to look through the order here, so we're getting towards halfway point in top 32. Has a favourite won any battle? I mean, Zalewski's probably the only one, but then on form last year, I would have said Reichert was the favourite, if you think about it from my point. So everything you think is going to happen, the opposite is happening, which is strange. But anyway,
I want to see why Rintanen put himself in an over-rotation here. He went for a big dive. I think that was all it was. The momentum and the speed he was carrying just pushed the car way off. Look at this left foot braking as he goes for the door, backs out of it. You can see him working that steering wheel as well. You see the front of the car pop up. That's when he gives it a big clutch kick. Orjan Nilsen, a little wander, a little waver there, but he's still kind of keeping in it, Dave. He's not left foot braking. He's on full throttle. Look at this. Rintanen goes for a big dive.
I don't think he goes for a dive. I think he just loses the car.
I think he goes for a little dive.
I think he just lost the back end of the car somehow. To me, it looked like he just transitioned and the car snapped like way faster than he thought it would. Very strange. Like, if you're looking at this situation, you're going, Orjan Nilsen versus Juha Rintanen, top 5 finisher last year. Juha Rintanen was in the fight for the championship into the last round. Nilsen rolled his car twice in Sweden, had crashes in other rounds, and now looks to me like he's got a massive advantage here.
This is crazy.
You call that an unforced error? It looked to me like it was just he made a mistake.
Yeah, he made a mistake.
Which Juha Rintanen never makes mistakes.
No, this is
what's happened.
What is happening this year?
2024, everyone you think is going to do what they did last year does the opposite. Pretty much, we've just turned it upside down.
It's the
And I think this is good for drifting, that you never know.
Yeah, I mean, look,
it's super unpredictable.
And Conor Shanahan said that over his interview with Becky earlier on. He said, look, these kind of years, these kind of events where everything's all backwards and these other guys, you know, kind of fall forward, it's good for the sport. It's good to see a new podium.
It massively is, but now we're looking at it going, you know, some of the biggest names in the game are mid-pack qualifiers. Now Juha Rintanen making an unforced error. Let's see what happens in the second one. It's still all to play for Orjan Nilsen as he fires in. Just got to keep it clean. It looks to me like Juha Rintanen is up and gone at this point, and maybe Nilsen trying to play it super safe here, but he doesn't want to straighten up or take too many errors here, because also he could knock himself out of competition. Rintanen with an absolute flyer of a lead run at the moment, but maybe Orjan Nilsen doesn't need to be on a flyer. Oh, and an issue for Juha Rintanen. Looks like he stalled up a lot there. Very, very good move from Orjan Nilsen to avoid contact there. It looked to me like Juha Rintanen just a little too heavy on the front and rear brakes to get into that corner, but no such major errors for Orjan Nilsen. Did flirt a little bit with disaster, straightening up in the chase position towards inner zone 2, but looks to me like he's okay. But I mean, Orjan Nilsen's car is not damaged, by the way, so that's a massive change of pace from him.
You mean it's all complete, still clean, no damage?
Every panel is still on the car. I've never seen it. Never seen at this stage of competition Orjan Nilsen's car in less than 50 pieces. And I mean, Rintanen's very fast through the first corner. Like, Nilsen has a wash there. Like, he's washed wide.
Yeah.
So he's made an error. And I think he was trying to be a little too cautious maybe, and just didn't come on the throttle as much as he wanted to. Rintanen, look at this line. Boom. Perfect.
What happens in this last outside zone?
I think he goes too fast. Watch, Rintanen goes through it. He's like, I'm going really fast, and then stalls a lot of handbrake and a lot of left foot brake, and then falls out of the zone. So Nilsen gets right up there again. But that is a mistake from Rintanen, where he made no other mistakes the whole run. So on the obvious thing, it looks like Orjan will get this. That's where I'm thinking, because
well, I mean, it has to be.
It has to be. I mean,
there was a complete over-rotation by Juha Rintanen in the first half of the run.
Like, it wasn't the most perfect chase run from Orjan Nilsen, but he didn't spin out.
I think
which Juha Rintanen did.
But I think he's doing that thing that I think we spoke about earlier. Technical, play it safe.
Yeah, just play it safe. Give him the room. That's mad. This is just a mad event. I'm feeling like
it's going to be one of those days.
It's going to be one of those days where you're like, I have no idea who'll win this. So here we go. Let's see if the decision is the same as we think it will be, and it looks like it is. Orjan Nilsen from Norway goes through to the top 16, and welcome to Upside Down Drift Masters from 2024. Alternate Drift Masters. Alternate Drift Masters.
Yeah.
We are now in the metaverse.
Don't even go there.
No?
No.
Too complicated?
Yeah, way too complicated. I don't even know what the metaverse is.
This is another Drift Masters where everyone that usually wins loses, and then the people that lose win. This is just another one.
So Pontus Hartman's won the event, basically, you're telling me?
It doesn't matter. Whoever you think is going to win the event won't. So you thought he's going to win the event again. So Pontus Hartman will go up against David Sposób. Both guys looking for a turn of pace of some. Sposób had a couple of moments in Poland last year. Didn't get all the way he wanted to. First full season here now, and I'm excited to see what he does. Pontus Hartman had an absolute banger of a qualifying run. Like, unbelievable. So if he can follow that form up here, he's going to be a very tough competitor against David Sposób. Let's see where they go as they fire into that first corner. Pontus Hartman, Sweden versus Poland as they come through. Oh, a little wide for Pontus Hartman. He makes it work. Sposób not really turning the screw. He's on left foot braking here. Sposób is struggling to keep that car sideways in the chase position. Now diving through the center of the track as Pontus Hartman looking a little smoother in that lead position. Sposób not really making an issue of anything, but not really making a great impression either. He's got to get up onto the door. Does just as they come across the finish line. Not a lot of fight for David Sposób in the first half of the course. Looked like he was struggling to keep the car sideways.
Yeah, it looked like he dialed the grip up there. there for, this run to try and keep himself in the fight. And off the line, you can see Pontus Hartman up and gone through the gears, and he wants this one. He's hungry for it. Fires the car. Look at the initiation. Carries so much speed into that first outside zone. Sposób gets on the handbrake and then has to make a big correction. And Hartman, for me, he's on a really nice line into that second inside zone. Car dialed. Look, the steering wheel doesn't even get turned as he goes through that third outside zone. This is a really nice line from Pontus Hartman. And you can see Sposób in the background working, makes a transition in the weird part of the circuit, puts himself offline and completely misses two zones, and then panics and makes a big dive and cuts the circuit here again to try and get on the door of Pontus Hartman. For me, Hartman doing a stellar job, just flirting with danger on the outside zone.
For me, it was all about that first corner. At one moment in time, Pontus Hartman hit the throttle,
yep,
and Sposób hit the handbrake.
Yep.
And then it went,
and then that was it, boom, big separation.
Yep. And, and then I think Hartman pulls the handbrake in a weird place for me before the outer zone, but it didn't matter to Sposób because he was so far behind, so it's not affecting him. But other than that, I think Pontus Hartman does a great job there. So, yeah, I mean, there you go. That's what it is. We know nothing. Why did we even have notes? None of these notes mean
nothing
anything.
makes any sense anymore. Upside down masters.
Yeah, so basically where we think it is that Sposób's got a disadvantage here because he hasn't really brought the fight to Hartman.
I think there was too many mistakes in the chase.
A little bit of understeer, and Hartman does a good job. However, Hartman now has to chase Sposób, and does he get too aggressive and make a big error? Because look, it's all over one spin here, or one four-wheel off. You know what I mean? So that can happen anywhere. Does he get lost in the smoke? Simple things like that. It's never over till the final finish line on these battles, because we've seen so many mistakes from very experienced drivers that these two are going to have to try and navigate. Here we go. Sposób in the lead. It's going to be Hartman in the chase. Sposób goes wide on the first corner. Nice initiation from Dawid Sposób. And now, mistake from Pontus Hartman. Sposób misses that inner zone. He's a bit straight again and trying to left foot brake, allowing Hartman back into this one. Not sure what happened there, as now looks like to me Sposób has big separation from Hartman. He's very fast here, Sposób, and very smooth as he goes through the course. Hartman not really having an answer until they get right to this point now as Hartman goes up onto the door. However, I'd like to see that first corner again. Not sure what happened there. It looked to me like Hartman went in and stalled up a little bit. I'm not sure.
No, I'm not too sure either, David. Yeah, I can't wait to look for look back at the replay of this one. For me, Pontus Hartman, though, was on a nicer lead line, if I'm brutally honest with you, on a nicer line in the chase position. I think he did, again, what everyone else seems to be doing, giving some room, leaving a little bit of room for error. But we'll see a replay of this run and find out exactly what happened to Pontus Hartman. Did he throw too much angle on? Here we go. The drone never lies. It tells all of the secrets of exactly what happened between these two guys. Hartman doesn't go in too aggressive. Straight line initiation from both the guys. Pontus Hartman's car looks like it's just washing. Yeah, it washed out quite wide there, and that allowed Dawid Sposób to pull away. Oh, he came in a little hot, so he had to slow the car down. That allowed him to get on the throttle late. But nevertheless, Pontus Hartman here, look, watch this line from Hartman. Perfect, where Sposób's making mistakes.
Yeah, but they don't reward your lead run in the chase.
No, I know.
They reward you for being a chase driver. And he wasn't really in the chase position like Sposób wasn't either. However, to me, Sposób's inner zone 2 both times is an error. He's kind of on no angle on the left foot brake, so that's going to hurt him. If he hadn't that zone for me, I would probably be leaning really far towards Pontus Hartman. But I don't know. It's a very hard one to decide. Two great drivers, two great ambassadors for the sport, looking for a turn of fortune here at round 1. Hartman, you can see the nerves. The nerves are there for Hartman and for Sposób, who will go through to the top 16. That's a tough one to call.
That is a very tough one to call.
I can see arguments for both sides.
Yeah.
And I can see an argument for one more time. So,
to be fair, I can see an argument for one more time here.
Yeah, let's see what happens. And it's going to be Dawid Sposób gets the win. He's into the top 16. He gets the win, and you can see that it means absolutely nothing to him. Stone cold there, not running around like an absolute lunatic. Sposób is over the moon. I'm going to quickly jump over to David Callas. David, talk us through it. Some errors from both drivers there. But it looked like Hartman, as you said, probably making the bigger mistake, coming in too hot in the first corner.
Like we said in the beginning, we were putting more effort to the lead run, and David was able to put more clean lead, and that's why he was able to pull it through. Chase runs were not clean from both drivers. The mistakes were put in different places, but the lead run and clean lead from Dawid, even though he was like not ideal at inner zone 2, it was just better than Pontus.
There you have it, lead runs making the difference. Thanks, David. We'll be checking back in with you, I'm sure, all throughout today. Many things we need to ask questions on. Now, fast yellow cars, we like them.
We love them.
Nothing in the sunshine looks better than a yellow car. No. That's why we have very few in Ireland and the UK, because it's no sunshine. But here, we got Benediktas Čerba, who's definitely coming into this one as the favourite. I'm going to put it out there. Second place in qualifying. Many podiums, fighting out for a championship, goes up against Ismayer from Switzerland, who qualified in 31st position. I'm only going by the stats, Ian. I have no personal investment. I'm just saying, on statistic, Čerba is the favourite, and Meyer in the Supra has it all to do. But on a day like today, let's see what happens.
Well, let's see what happens through the chicane, down through the gears, and look at this. Yves Meyer on the back bumper of that BMW as they fire in. Look at this from Čerba. No messing around, but that opens the door for Yves Meyer, and he didn't take the opportunity to dive into it. Now he's in the smoke. He's put too much angle on, and that allows Benediktas Čerba to start pulling away. Yves Meyer making a whole load of mistakes in the background as Benediktas Čerba flicks the car into that final outside zone, opens up the throttle, drives away as Yves Meyer on the inside of the circuit, desperate to get himself back in the fight.
Simple. Got caught in the smoke.
Easy.
Just caught in the smoke. Went in the wrong line, pushed too wide. Should have stayed on the inside, went on the outside. Got caught in Čerba's smoke. No idea where he is on the track. Had to bail out. Couldn't be confident of what was happening.
No, and you know, dialed on too much angle, because I think he thought he was in a different part of the track to where he was, and then had to almost reinitiate, get himself back in the fight. Look at this from Čerba. This is textbook.
Yeah, but watch the smoke cloud now from Čerba. Watch the front windscreen of the Supra. No idea. He has no idea of where the track is. Has to bail out.
Yeah.
Now you see him, now you don't. And when you see him again, he's in the wrong place. And
he's opposite drifting.
Yeah, so that's probably a 0 for Meyer there, I would imagine. And that's allowed. It's not a James Bond move, blinding your opponent. It's allowed. You shouldn't.
What about oil slicks?
That's not allowed.
Okay.
Can't do that. Yeah. I know, Ian, you've tried a few of these tricks in your driving days, but that's why you're disqualified from the sport.
Expensive though they are. They are expensive. Them oil slick ones. Yeah.
But the worst thing was when you do the oil slick, you just spin. And and the worst part was it was in qualifying. Anyway, we'll get back to other stories about Ian Waddington's driving career later on. And it's going to be a massive advantage for Benediktas Čerba. I mean, the Lithuanian driver to me has come back into 2024 looking like the man to beat. Phenomenal in qualifying, and now pretty much just has to go through the motions here. However, that seems to be more difficult than it seems today. So Meyer getting lost in the smoke. Čerba could have the same issue here. But I think Čerba's a little clever. He's going to stay. I've got to stay on the inside.
He's got the experience, Dave.
Experience counts for a lot. But Meyer has a lot of experience as well. But anyone can get caught in the smoke cloud. That's the problem. Once you have that little error and the car washes,
you find yourself in the wrong position.
Unless you just full throttle blindly through it, which is dangerous at any speed. See what happens in the second run as Meyer now goes into the first corner. Čerba really close, probably closer than he needs to be, but that's a little bit of it. Čerba spins out, hits Meyer, and we are back in the multiverse. We don't know what's happening. Did Meyer come off throttle? Did Čerba? It looked like Čerba gained a lot of ground, and yeah, don't know. We'll have to look at that one again, Ian.
That is going to be multiple angles, drones, cameras, slow-mos, the whole lot on this one.
Did Meyer come off throttle?
I don't think Meyer came off throttle because there was quite a big smoke trail coming from the back of that Supra. Watch this. Čerba goes for it. Look at this. Initiates before Yves Meyer on the foot brake and the handbrake. Gets on in the smoke screen. Yves Meyer kind of on the wrong line.
He's on the wrong line because he's too close to the curb here, and he's actually pushing out to miss the inner zone. But then, should Čerba have adapted to that?
Yves Meyer does. Oh, he did lift off.
He lifted. I think he's on the wrong line. He knows he's going to go off the track, and he has to lift off, and Čerba comes in like a rocket. It's definitely contact. It's definitely the reason both cars have spun. Oh, look at that. See, they look exactly how we looked when it happened.
That is us.
We were like, uh-oh. I mean, for reference, that is not us. If you haven't seen our faces, we do not look anything like those two ladies. So, just...
God, not that attractive.
No. Think of the opposite, I think.
Yeah, complete opposite.
The opposite, that's what... Same reaction, but very opposite appearance.
I think Čerba's got the up.
I think Čerba is unhappy that he thinks he's slowed down in front of him.
Yeah, I think Čerba went over there to have a stern word with Yves Meyer there.
So I think Meyer's way offline there. I mean, if you look at it, he's on the inside of the curb at the start of the corner.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be on the outside.
Yeah, of course.
And then he's washing out, so he comes off throttle. Churba's trying to catch him because he's in the smoke cloud. That's my first thought. Let's see what the judges think. And there you have it. Churba gets the win and goes through. Look at the emotion. He was very angry. And then he wasn't very angry. He was like, I won. Everything is fine. I'm your best friend again. So that worked.
We could be buddies again now.
Now you are not on the list.
I think he was upset because he caught the contact, and I think Churba thought he was going to knock himself out. We look back at the replays, and you were right. He was way offline, and he lifted off the throttle. You see the smoke trail disappear from the back of that
Well, you got to think that you're going in, then you're slowing, and then you're speeding out of the corner. He went in, speeding into the corner, and then slowed, so you can't do that.
Right.
I get it.
Hold on.
Oh, big one.
This is the one.
This is your favorite, pal.
This is the one I've been waiting for. This can go two ways. This can either make the Shanahan's weekend, or this could be the tail of the tape for the Shanahan's for the season, I think. If they both get defeated early on at round one, I think this could... I mean, I don't want to wish it on anyone, and I don't want this...
No, but Alex Hlavnia has out-qualified Jack Shanahan here too, so... And Alex Hlavnia is very good.
But if Jack Shanahan could get through Hlavnia and get into that top 16, maybe the season could be salvageable. They could still find some form in this, but it could go the other way for the Shanahans. Oh, and it looks like we've got cones down.
False start.
The false start.
False start. He went all the way up there, Ian, and he had to come back down.
It was on the top of the mountain and dragged back down.
Nervous weekend for the Shannons because at the moment they still have 2 of their 3 cars in it. They've got Fionn Roach in there and Jack Shannon, Connor Shannon out. Jack Shannon's like, what's going on? But Alex Hlavnia is, the Ukrainian is very talented, very, very precise, amazing car. Lowest car on the grid too, which I always give a couple of props for.
Yep.
Is there it says green.
Cones.
Cone, yeah. We got a cone over from Hlavnia. Yeah, he hits 2 cones. Actually, he rubs 1 cone, knocks 1 over. So can't do that. That's why the cone's there to slow you down. He was trying to go too fast.
Too fast, speedy.
And the start line marshal said, come back here, you. We'll do this fair. So Hlavnia getting a little bit too excited. Jack Shanahan out in the chase. You can see heavy breathing. A lot of pressure on Shanahan. A lot of pressure on Hlavnia too, because then you take down Jack Shanahan in the top 32. I mean, your weekend starts to open up of the possibilities. So here we go. Alex Hlavnia in the lead. Jack Shanahan in the chase. A lot of pressure here at the early stages in Spain in the season. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, Hlavnia flicks the car across the circuit. Shanahan tucks into formation. Doesn't want to get lost in the smoke. Jumps on the throttle. Looks for the side of that BMW. Gives himself some room to manoeuvre now. Hlavnia very tight on the inside zone, but makes it work now. Shanahan transitions back again. Leaves him the room. Waits for him to position himself on the circuit as they fire into that final outside zone. Jack lost in the smoke a little bit, but now looks to tuck up on the door, and he does. He gets right in the pocket across the line. That is the best chase we've seen.
You know what, I'm right. I'm right. You're right. I'm right. But I'm saying what I have noticed about that was it was the best chase we've seen because it was the most consistent. We've seen Zalewski be closer, we've seen other drivers be close, but only at certain sections of the track. Yeah. Shannon sort of weighs up his options for the first 2 corners, sort of doesn't overcommit.
No.
And then Hlavnia, I think, does make an error in the lead position out inner zone 2. We'll have a little look at it here again. So this is really tidy for both drivers. Hlavnia does a good job here.
Look at Shanahan, he's on and off the throttle. You can see that front wheel picking up off the tarmac because he waits, and he waits to see where Hlavnia is.
Just here, Hlavnia kind of drives a little bit. Watch this on the transition up further back. He just kind of drives a little bit, but it's not bad. He's a good lead run from Hlavnia there. Do you know what? Very little to take away from either driver there. Very, very good, both very calculated. Hlavnia's second half of the run of the lead is spectacular. Again, he was doing that in qualifying beautifully. Very good driving. We haven't seen too much of it in the top 32.
No, and we've been waiting for this. And I knew it was going to come. I see some practice earlier on, and I knew these guys had it. But, you know, contact, car problems, this is what happens when you push them to their limit. I think Jag did a really good job there in the chase position, but Alex gave him that lead. And that is what the judges are looking at.
My point now is, Jack Shannon, sure, good chase, but they're going to have to reward Hlavnia's incredible lead there.
Exactly.
And now it's nearly more pressure for Jack Shannon to have a good lead than it is for Hlavnia to have a close chase. So this is stress for Jack, who, you know, he's gone out there and qualified in 18th position, so he hasn't done a good lead yet. You know what I mean? It hasn't happened.
It hasn't happened.
So Halovnia could be the man here. He can go to the door here a little closer and then hope Shanahan makes some errors. Let's see what happens.
Look at that nice flick across the circuit. Shanahan on the throttle, but Halovnia tucked up on the door. He's closer than what Shanahan was. He didn't wait for anything to settle. He just jumped himself right into the battle now as Shanahan fires through that inner zone, dives across the circuit. A little bit of separation as Halovnia finds himself way offline, way on the outside of the circuit, looks for the door, jumps into the outside zone. Shanahan's on an absolute flyer. Shanahan absolutely killing it as Halovnia gets on the back bumper.
Split on this one.
I think it's going to come down to one error, and that was Halovnia in the middle of the circuit.
Yeah, but was Jack Shanahan wide enough on the outer zone?
Why did you do that?
I'm just saying, if you look at it again, Ian, Shanahan does miss that outer zone. He's not as deep as Halovnia was in that outer zone. Does that push Halovnia into the inside of the track? Let's have a look at it again. As I come through, this is really good proximity from Halovnia here. This is better than Shanahan at this point, but then Shanahan a little bit more steady in the lead too. Shanahan misses the inner zone, pushing Halovnia into a weird position there. Watch this outer zone. Shanahan barely gets it at the end, and Halovnia's on the inside of the track. So kind of both of them making an error there.
Yeah.
But then you think, is Halovnia far back because Shanahan misses the inner zone?
I think this is going to be the inner zone.
Does Jack Shanahan miss that inner zone, meaning Halovnia has to kind of just drive straight and then reinitiate? Very hard to know. Very stressful. We're not judging and we're stressed.
I'm stressed.
Watch this. Look, Shanahan doesn't go all the way out there. Hard to tell from that angle.
Halovnia's way off.
Yeah, he's on the inside of the track, so that's an error. But is it an error caused by Shanahan earlier on? We don't know.
Look at this.
Three-wheeling.
Oh man, that is such a good shot.
Wow. GT86s on three wheels shouldn't really be a thing, right?
And Halovnia's side skirt just cleaning the rubber off the track.
Scooping up all Shanahan's rubber there.
Oh,
that's
man.
wild.
These shots from Red Bull TV are phenomenal. Look at the concentration from Halovnia and Shanahan.
Look at the pressure. That tyre is barely on the ground. All the way through this course, that tyre has nearly been off the ground. It's barely touching the surface at the moment. That's wild. Have a little discussion amongst themselves, but the judges' discussion is the one that matters. Who's going to the top 16? Alex Halovnia gets the win and goes to the top 16. And my God, is the order shaken up here at round one. Everything is the opposite. And that lady there is very delighted with that. Very happy. We got to go quickly over to you, David. Just a quick one. Was it that miss in the inner zone from Shanahan that messed up Halovnia? Was that what you were leaning on?
Yeah, that was from both drivers. We saw some mistakes. Both drivers were not super clean at our zone 5 on their leads. But Jack did a little bit more mistakes on his lead. And that made harder work for Alex on his chase. So Alex was then getting more points for his chase, and Jack was more bleeding the points on his lead. So overall, that helped Alex to go through, even though proximity was perfect from both.
You know what, best battle we've seen today.
Oh, without doubt.
Without doubt. And you know what, no shame there from Jack Shanahan going out to a very on form. Here we go. So this is the battle I've been looking forward to. Two absolute insane, crazy people from two very different parts of Europe. We've got Holland represented by Clint Van Oort, and we've got Tor Arne Kvia. Tor Arne Kvia from Norway in that bright pink C80, and you got Clint Van Oort in the S14, that bright yellow car. This is two guys that I've never seen a highlight reel that either aren't featured in. And sometimes for good reason, and sometimes for not good reason. But this is going to be a wild battle. Clint Van Oort in the lead position, Kvia in the chase, full gun down to that first corner. Kvia fires in. Look at the proximity already from Kvia as he's up on the door. Clint Van Oort late on the throttle, but it doesn't matter. Look at this. When we talk about this track. Kvia pushing Clint Van Oort around the track all the way down. Look, Clint Van Oort right to the edge of the circuit. Absolutely sensational driving from both of these guys. Kvia makes one big massive dive on 90 degrees into the last corner. Too much of a dive from Kvia. He messed himself up, but what a moment as at over 70 miles an hour, Kvia touches the other car. See, I told you this would be the one.
Man, what a battle. What a battle so far. There was no messing around. Kvia wanted that more than anyone else. That was insane.
And like, Clint Van Oort got hit at about 70 miles an hour. I just said, yeah, whatevs, and just went into the next zone. Look at this, Kvia goes straight in here, and I'm going to show you a mistake maybe from Kvia that I spotted that might not have been spotted the first time around. We'll wait for it for a moment. Look at this. He's pushing the other car along. He even says, Clint, you haven't got enough angle. Get a bit more angle going. People love the angle, Clint. Do this. pushes him down the track. We haven't seen anybody do this. Look at this. Kvyat pushes Clint Van Aert outside of the zone. And then on the transition, Clint Van Aert, look at that line from Clint Van Aert, full throttle. Now watch Kvyat as they transition here, Ian. We're going on inboard here, but I think he goes on too much angle here when he transitions back. Won't see it from that angle, but we'll get another one in a moment. But I think he does make a little bit of an error and has to readjust just at the end. So we're going to get another shot at that. But look at this proximity from... So Clint Van Aert, as they're coming to this corner, watch Kvyat as they come through here. So this is what I spotted. Not the right angle for him, but watch Kvyat. Just watch the chase car. Goes on angle, goes on big angle. I think he might have an issue there in the chase position, but again, that's only the first half of the battle. That was the only mistake, but other than that, Kvyat was like 172 points. But there was a little error there at the end, maybe. So we'll switch. What's Clint Van Aert got to do now? What has Clint Van Aert got to do now?
I think you're right. Kvyat into that final outside zone, dialed on way too much angle, and when the camera cut back on that angle, you could see Kvyat making another correction, and Clint Van Aert was absolutely dialed. I think for me, Clint Van Aert needs to play this one clever. I think he needs to, you know, be very clever.
Clint Van Aert's going to feel the contact, and he's going to think Kvyat's just pushed him around the track. He won't know as much about the error at the end of the circuit, because the spotters who are even watching the screen might miss that. Yeah. And therefore, I'll probably tell him you need to go crazy here, which might not be the right option.
No.
But I'm not against it, because it'll be very entertaining. So
For us.
And Kvyat, feast or famine this weekend, either the big runs or he has been known to make a couple of errors. He spun out in his qualifying run, trying a little too hard to be the main man, you know? So we love both of these guys for their style, for their aggression, for their commitment, but sometimes they can knock you out too. So I don't know what's going to happen when they come off the line here. But Clint Van Aert's definitely not going to let Kvyat away here.
No, he's not. And look at this, Kvyat through the chicane, full throttle, no worries. Big flick, and look at this from Clint Van Aert, straight onto the back bumper. He wants it. He knows he can take down Kvyat, but if Kvyat makes any more mistakes, this could be the end of the weekend for him. Clint Van Aert doesn't seem to have the pace as Kvyat now starts to drive away. Big separation opens up, and Kvyat's on an absolute flyer of a lead line as he fires into the final outside zone. Clint Van Aert not even in the battle as he gets himself on throttle into that zone. Kvyat goes wide, big angle.
Kvyat nearly spun himself there at the end, and he was so far ahead and so good. Oh, I thought that would be a little closer, but it looks to me like Tor's done an amazing job. I think it's going to come back to that first run and that mistake from Kvyat. How the judges look at that. If they let him away with it, then Kvyat's all day. If they don't, who knows? But to me, it looks like Van Aert brought no fight there in the second one.
But then they're going to be looking at Kvyat's, Clint Van Aert's lead. Are they going to be saying...
Actually, contact on initiation there, look.
Contact.
So Clint Van Aert hits the back of Kvyat's car. They're all okay here, but look, Clint Van Aert washes. He washes and has to come off throttle, and as he's coming off throttle, Kvyat's coming on throttle, and it starts this huge separation. Yeah. And look at this line, like Kvyat is flying through the track at this point. Like, that's a tough man to catch if he gets away from you.
He looks solid.
He comes on throttle so early that you don't really have an opportunity to catch up.
Do you know what, for me, Kvyat looks absolutely dialed. He looks solid. He looks like he's in the zone.
Yeah,
this is nice. Look at this. He goes a little wide though.
Oh, he's just on the edge.
Flirting with danger there.
But he gets away with it. I think the question we're going to have is that the mistake that was sort of in the smoke from Kvyat on the first, how severe was it? The judges obviously have different replay system to us, different camera angles, so they'll be watching that to see how they're getting on.
Well, they have every single camera.
Yeah.
And they have what we call an EVS judge, which is rewind and slow-mo. And there is that fourth judge that sits alongside them. And he can choose any camera that the judges want. And he rewinds the footage, slows it down, plays it in real time, shows the judges exactly what they want to see. What angle, what camera, the drone, everything that they could possibly need to make sure they get the right decision. And they're now looking, if you ask me, at whether Kvyat was 2 wheels off. Oh, I think it was 1 wheel. I think 1 wheel off the edge of the circuit. Well, as the judges take a look back at this, drivers out of the car, they don't know, they have no idea.
So there you have it. It's going to be down to a decision from the judges. Some mistakes from both drivers, some moments of brilliance from both drivers as well. But we're now going to find a decision from top 16, and they're not confident. They're not too sure. I think you can hear almost Clint Van Oort saying he feels he's lost this one, but Kvyat then says, I've made an error too. So they're not too sure. Two very, very nice guys, two great ambassadors for the sport, and they do so much for the sport in their local nations. And Kvyat's, you know, always, every weekend, pushing Norwegian drifting to the top and leading by example too. Same with Clint Van Oort in the Netherlands. You know, these are the guys everyone looks up to, and you know what? It's great that they do, because they're great ambassadors for the sport. Fun guys behind the scenes as well. And let's see who's going to go through to the top 16. Judges having a good debate on this one.
Yeah, I was just going to say, calm down, relax a little, because we're not getting a decision just yet. I've just took a look through into where the judges are, and it is heated.
It's heated, as if it didn't need any more heat.
It's like they've turned the aircon off, opened the windows, and said, have a little drop of sunshine. There is a big discussion going on in there. I don't know what they're looking at. Oh, there we go. So they're looking at whether this was 2 wheels off track.
Is this 2 wheels off from Kvyat? It looks to me like it is 2 wheels off track. That's my initial thought.
Look at this wheel. It's on the white line. But how much on the white line is it? Look at this.
I think what judging, and when judging is in progress, as they say on the screen, it means that unless they can clearly say that the wheel is off, they don't assume.
No.
So whatever angles they have to be very confident that they can say it was off.
And there is a heated debate. It's like they've been thrown out onto the beach with no water and said, sizzling.
So they got to go through it all here. So again, remember, you might say, get on with it, make a decision. But these guys put their life and soul into the sport, and they don't want to rush any decision they don't feel comfortable with. Judges say it's not what everyone thinks happens, it's what they think happens, and they have to have all the information out there, and they got to make the call. Everyone else watching doesn't have to make a call. They just can make any call they want, and there's no consequence. But the 3 guys in there do have to make a call. So it looks like we have a confirmation that there was 2 wheels off from Torjan and Kvyat at one point. So how does that stack up in the judging? Let's see which way it goes. Top 16 place up for grabs, and it is going to be Clint Van Oort getting the win. Clint Van Oort gets the win and goes through. Torjan Kvyat.
Oh man, he's dejected.
Yeah, he's not happy with that one, and it's going to be the 2 wheels. When he was so far in the lead, he had it 1, and he put those 2 wheels off at the end. Quickly back to you, David. Some issues. You guys were checking out those 2 wheels from Torjan Kvyat. Was that the deciding factor?
Yeah, that was exactly it. We really loved how Tor was dealing with this track. It was an amazing run. Unfortunately, just before the finish, he put it 2 wheels behind the white line. Full contact patch of the tire was outside of the white line. That means 2 wheels off. And unfortunately, we needed to put 0 for the running complete.
I love how David is disappointed he had to, but you have to. They're the rules. And Becky is down with Clint Van Oort. Clint gets the win, Becky, but it's probably a surprise to him.
So, Clint, that looked like a difficult battle there. You weren't sure when you got out the car. What was going through your mind? Did you think it was Tor's or yours? Did you see that you made a small mistake yourself and you were just weighing it up?
It was a hard one. My lead it felt great, you know, but when I changed to go chasing, and the first corner was perfect, but after that I lost Tor. But yeah, I don't know. I was like 5 car lengths behind, and I didn't think I had it. But I felt Tor should have it because his chase was perfect. It is what it is, but we are through to top 16, so I'm anyway happy, but not the way I wanted.
I totally understand that. Always such a fair player in this game. Can you give us a track update for everybody watching? Because it looks very hot out there. What is the grip like? Can you tell us?
The track itself is very hard, and the grip levels, to be honest, we didn't put much grip in the car, so we need to dial in it for sure because I was far away. So I can't give you any details on that, but we will get there.
Thank you so much, Clint, and we'll see you in top 16.
Thank you, Becky.
Yeah, but Clint Van Oort a little bit confused, but
he won, but he's upset.
He's upset that Tor didn't win and beat him.
Yeah,
drifting.
Doesn't make sense.
Doesn't have to make sense. But you know what, that's the way the sport is. These guys are all good friends behind the scenes. I'm sure Kvyat will look back and probably not be aware of the 2 wheels off. Maybe that was until he sees the replay.
And Clint will do the same.
And you know what's so funny, because I saw the judges' disappointment in saying that, yes, we could just give it to Tor, but that's not fair, because that rule was explained that if you put 2 wheels off, it's a major deduction. And even though he was so far ahead, he did make the mistake.
Right, so Mika Keski-Korpi now, ladies and gentlemen, has a bye run. But the door... Oh, the door did shut. I was going to say, the door won't shut, so we can't let him go. So how does that work, Dave?
I don't know.
Anymore.
Why
we
don't know anymore. Us here in the tower trying to explain this madness?
Because no one else will do it. No one else will sit through this torture.
It's like every time we think we have it figured out, it's like, oh, well, here goes another day of madness. The door won't close, and then there's this, and the boot lid fell off yesterday, and we don't know. 2 wheels off when you're 5 car lengths ahead, and yeah, it makes it. Mika Keski-Korpi, though, getting a bye run, that's a bit of luck.
Yeah, unfortunately, Jakub or Kuba Puszczonski can't make it to the line. Problems with that GR86, and you know, the same old Mika Keski-Korpi just needs to initiate, make it around the first corner to prove to the judges that his car is fit and ready to go. Good job it wasn't a real battle, because he just dropped 2 wheels off the circuit there, Dave.
Well, I don't know if he was concentrating too heavily on that one.
No, and you know, I think he's already told everyone behind the scenes he just wants to initiate. He doesn't want to kill any tyres, put the car under any stress. Remember, yesterday, his first qualifying run that did get him into the show, the clutch exploded and he managed to do the whole run with no clutch.
Wow. I can't even park with no clutch.
No, I know, I've seen.
And he's doing full laps of the circuit. Superhumans.
Superhumans.
And he goes through, which he would have also looked at the bracket and said, Kuba Puszczonski, oh no, I've qualified 23rd, he's qualified 10th, and yet he just gets through.
But it's upside down day today, so.
It's upside down day.
Yeah.
National upside down day at Drift Masters. Everything you think is going to happen, the opposite will happen, even in the battle. At any moment, the minute you make an assumption, you will be punished.
Well, that's going to put a lot of pressure on the next battle, because the man that is coming, stepping up, is going to be saying, whoa, nothing makes sense today. I need to be careful. The next battle, Dave, coming to the line will be Laurie Heidrich to take on Edgars Kagaris. Kagaris had a problem with the car, made contact with Fionn Roche in practice, ripped the front wheel off the car, and the team had to repair the car before he could even make it back out for top 32 battles. So Kagaris' last run in practice, the wheel off the car, suspension damaged. Is it going to be 100%?
Hey, I was just thinking about something.
Hey, go.
Laurie Heidrich is the only man left in the competition that finished in the top 5 of the championship last year.
Yeah, he is, yeah.
Which is a very strange scenario to be.
Rare.
So if he could pull it together here, he gets the biggest jump of one of the favourites, let's say, for the 6 rounds. Yeah. I don't know what a favourite is anymore, but what I'm saying is now Laurie Heidrich could, if he takes down Edgars Kagaris, put a big statement in here. That finished 2nd last year, but if he's the only one in the top 5 from last year to survive this topsy-turvy top 32, that would be a big statement.
I think if you say favourites now, that's out the window. Everything's been reset to 0. Here we go, off the line. Laurie Heidrich to lead in Edgars Kagaris. Kagaris looks for the side of that purple and yellow S13. Dials on too much angle and he's slow. He hasn't got the pace now as Heidrich starts to work in. Turn the screw, open the throttle. Kagaris making some mistakes. Look at that early transition. Puts himself in the middle of the circuit. He's way out of formation as Heidrich looks for the final outside zone. Puts the wheel to the edge of the circuit. Stamps on the accelerator and gets himself across the line.
Well, that's definitely half the job done for Laurie Heidrich. He could do no more. The Finnish fans in attendance, they're starting to believe now. They've watched all of Laurie's, I would say, rivals drop here very early in the competition. And Laurie, I mean, doesn't make mistakes, does he? He doesn't really make... I mean, I've always said...
He never puts a foot wrong.
No, you got to go out there and beat Laurie Heidrich because he won't beat himself.
No.
And that's, again, evident from that run.
And you know what? For a man, that the car was working last year. It worked every single event. And all they did, they went away and the team said, we just need to go faster. We just need more speed. So we took some weight out of the car, balanced in the grip, and now look how fast he is. And as you gave him the opportunity, look at this from Kagaris. He makes one small mistake, and Laurie Heidrich's gone.
And with Laurie with that lighter chassis, almost 200 kg out of the car, it's running what? Over 1,000 horsepower
now. Over 1,000
now.
wheel horsepower.
Wheel horsepower, we would say flywheel horsepower is probably what, 1250?
Easy.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's got the grip as well.
It's a full package. And the driver is pulling all that together is exceptional.
And he believes in himself this year.
Oh, he's oozing confidence. Because last year, he proved that he took it all the way to the last 4 of the season. He could have still been champion.
Yeah.
So when you get to that situation, you're now not defending a championship.
No.
So you're hungrier than
You were the year before,
Yeah.
yep.
You're so close that you're angry you didn't get it, and you're coming back with a better car and a better team and a better setup. And every single one of your rivals falls out top 32 in the first round, and you're looking that strong.
Dangerous.
Dangerous right now. And Edgar Cajeras is going to know all about it in about 30 seconds time, because he's going to go for that door.
He certainly is going to go for that door, and he's hunting it down right now as he looks for the back bumper as Cajeras fires that car from left to right. Laurie Heinen just goes for a nice simple initiation, tucks himself up on the inside, and now starts to work himself into the groove. Look at this, on the back bumper, no messing around. He's on a nicer line than Cajeras. Dials on the angle, almost puts himself in a bit of a situation there, but Cajeras falls off that qualifying line as he gets into the outside zone, stabs a handbrake that opens the door once again for Laurie Heinen. Heinen going to go for it here. He's going to put the risk in. Cajeras way off that line.
Yeah, not the cleanest of leads from Edgar's there. A lot of handbrake, a lot of wavering. I think he straightened a few times as well. How Laurie Heinen didn't hit him at outside inner zone 2 was left foot braking and just experience.
I think that car of Cajeras is still not 110% after that wheel off. You can see the headlight missing from the car, and that was from the impact where the car dropped down and ejected that front wheel. And I think that car isn't 100%. Look at the straight line initiation. I think he's got that worked out. He knows you need to go in and position yourself perfectly, then start to turn the screw, then start to apply the pressure.
Now watch this, he kind of comes at the edge of the circuit, he kind of straightens the front wheels, a little bit of drive in here for quite a bit.
Big handbrake.
And a handbrake again.
He tags him.
And that's a full throttle zone, so you shouldn't be handbraking there.
Heinen tagged him there in that where he
But he still didn't collect him enough that it was major. I mean,
no.
If you're a drift fan, if you're a casual drift fan.
Oh, and he slowed again there. That's what dropped him out of that zone.
Yeah, so I think you've basically Laurie Heinen avoiding Edgar's for 2 months to run. And I think that's because he's a much better driver than what he's seeing there. So I think that's a car problem. I think Edgar's car is just not right.
No. And you look, that car came in at the end of practice. They had like half an hour to get that car repaired, aligned, and you can see they didn't even bother with a headlight. They were like, we don't need headlights. It's plenty of sun out there, Dave, today.
Three-wheeling through the corner. I think this one's going to be a pretty easy decision for the judges. They've had a few tough ones. And let's see what happens. Who's going through to the top 16? Is it Heinen? Is it Cajeras? I think we know which way it's going to go. It is Laurie Heinen from Finland getting the win. Laurie Heinen from Finland gets the win and goes through to the top 16. And Laurie is too busy taking his gloves off to even realize what's happened. He's like, oh, I'm in the top 16.
There he is. Casual.
And you know what? Sometimes when you get the results of a battle, you can see him, David Sposób jumping up and down, and Clint went out confused. Laurie Heinen was like, I expect nothing less. He knew.
Oh, you think?
He knew.
You think that's how he is?
Yeah, his spotter would have said, you have that one, Laurie. Don't worry about it. And he knows. He's actually not even worried about this battle. He's worried about the next couple of battles. Because he's looking around him thinking, a couple of big names after him.
And I did just look at the, we divide this top 32 up into quarters because that's the route to the final.
Yeah.
And Laurie Heinen's quarter of the top 32 battle tree is stacked with big names. You got McKeever, Piscotty, Film Roche, Zacharil, Jason Benet.
And also remember, the winner of this battle will take on Laurie Heinen. And this battle will be Dwayne McKeever and Joachim Andersen. Joachim Andersen in a brand new car this year, looking strong, looking very good. Again, on paper, you're going to sit this one over to Dwayne McKeever and say he looks like the favorite. But on this day of all days, in the Drift Masters multiverse, Dwayne McKeever has to go, no, I want to do the Laurie Heinen thing. I want to keep things moving. So here we go, look at McKeever across as he chases in Joachim Andersen into that first corner.
Yeah, and it goes wild across the track. There's McKeever, big handbrake track for Joachim Andersen, and that allows McKeever to get on the door, but it's too much slowing, and McKeever had to get himself back into this battle as he now looks for a dive down the inside. Joachim Andersen dials on too much angle, falls out of the outside zone, and McKeever's holding on to this one. He wants to go aggressive, but he needs to play it careful as McKeever goes for the door. Joachim Andersen in that outside zone. McKeever flicks on the angle, looks for the front wheel, and dives it across the line.
Yeah, it might look in the chase position that McKeever's making a lot of errors there, but to be honest, the lead run is tough. Yeah, it's a tough one to follow. Some mistakes from Joachim Andersen there. Didn't get the outer zones. Again, Joachim Andersen was looking, I think, a little better in qualifying to me than that. He out-qualified McKeever in 14th position, McKeever in 19th. And it just looks to me like some errors. I'm going to talk you through it in my opinion, which of course counts for nothing. McKeever leaves him a lot of room here and goes in very late, which is clever, but Joachim, a lot of handbrake. Like, he's way on the handbrake there on the inside of the track. McKeever gives him a little tap and sends him on their way, and then Joachim kind of has to settle that. This, for me, is pretty solid from both of these guys. Very, very good. Joachim doing a good job and McKeever doing a good job. You can see just how close they're getting here. Look, McKeever's like, uh-oh, little bump. on the door, stays in it. No harm done. Robin's racing, but when they come down the hill, right, see, look at the left foot lock up from Jakub to get back into it. McKeever, look at this, how close they are. That's incredible car control from both drivers there. And as they come down the hill, just watch this from Jakub Andersen. As they're coming through here, it looks to me like when he transitions too early here. So he's handbrake there. Now he's missing this zone completely. And then has to do a very slight transition here. So McKeever really playing with fire here as he goes into that last corner. So not perfect lead and chase, but maybe the lead of Jakub there just at that moment for me was something that you could probably pick up as a judge and say wasn't fully out to the edge of the circuit.
Yeah, you know what? I think a lot of favour is weighing on Dwayne McKeever there for dealing with the poor lead from Jakub Andersen. And McKeever, I think, will be bagging some more of those valuable points that he needs to try and get a spot in that top 16. They're on the line.
But also, McKeever hasn't done a good lead yet.
No.
Hasn't done a good qualifying session, so now he's got to turn it on.
Yeah, he certainly has got to turn it on. Look at this big clutch kick across the circuit as McKeever fires it in on the rumble strips. Jakub Andersen tucks it in formation, gives him a tag, and upsets himself there. Jakub Andersen straightens, does a rolling burnout, and that allows the door to be opened for Dwayne McKeever as he now fires through. Look at this on the outside zone, perfect line for McKeever. Big snappy transition, fires that car into the outside zone, and look at this, right to the edge of the circuit as McKeever stands on the throttle, drives away, and says to Jakub Andersen, that is how it's done.
Looks obvious. I'm going to go back and have a look at that first corner because I'm just going to have a look at the contact. I'm going to have a look at the contact before I make a decision on it. Just see what happens.
I think that was Jakub Andersen. I think that was, it was all up in McKeever's business.
McKeever was all up in his business too.
Yeah, but Jakub Andersen was a big handbrake drag after that outside zone.
Let's see what happens here. As we go into this first corner.
I think he went greedy, watch.
Comes in very fast, very hot. Yeah.
Am I right?
I'm not going to say you're right.
You can, it's fine.
But I agree.
It's a new year. It's a new year. Look at that, he jumps up the side of the car.
Yeah, that was pretty much
And then he does a rolling burnout. Watch this, he comes off throttle, back on throttle, and he does a big rolling burnout to try and...
Well, it all comes down to contact, so it looked to me like the keeper was on throttle and Jakub just comes in a little too hot.
So I'm right.
I'm not saying you're right, so
Okay.
I agree.
You agree.
I agree with your synopsis, but it doesn't matter what you think.
This is a whole,
It doesn't matter what I think. Because 3 judges are going to make the call.
They are.
Fast old track this. Look at the Jakub Andersen like, ooh, coming through the smoke.
And Dwayne, look at those, laser focused. Oh, look, even as a look over, is he there? There he is.
As a look close, it's not that close. I think it's going to come down to just that little contact up the first corner. That's all it's about, because from there, kind of nothing happens. Good lead, like what can you shake? He's not chasing at that point, he's catching up. So it's going to be a decision from the judges. It is another one for our top 16. Smiles from Dwayne McKeever, maybe not the biggest smile from Jakub Andersen behind that helmet. So that also, I just love watching the body language of Dwayne thinks you wouldn't be getting out of the car smiling if you don't think that you've got Dwayne McKeever's spotter there also smiling. So they definitely expect that this will be a Dwayne McKeever win, but you never know. You never know until the left or right arrow swipe. You never quite know. I've seen some shocked faces too.
Yeah.
So, who is going to go through to the top 16? Jakub Andersen or Dwayne McKeever? It's the first top 16 of the year for either driver.
Hold on.
Are we having a discussion?
There's a lot of replays going on.
There's more replays going on. Okay. Judging is in. I told you. I agreed.
This is the first
You weren't
half.
right. Yeah, watch this. Is it the same? Is it the same? It's a big handbrake from Jakub. He comes on power there into the decel zone. Dwayne hits him. And this is okay. As they come through here, Jakub kind of transitions a little early. They're having a look at the contact. Does he put 2 wheels off the track? Is it another thing? No. 1 wheel off the track. Everyone's doing that. Dwayne kind of hits him, backs off. Does he straight when he hits him? Don't know. McKeever comes in. Watch the front wheels of McKeever's car. Is that what they're looking at to see if he straightens up? Don't know. And there's 2 kind of contacts here on both roads, isn't there?
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
Oh, I don't know. And now Dwayne McKeever's smile has turned to a frown.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
Oh no.
Dwayne's now thinking,
should have had a decision by this stage. There we go. Let's see what happens. And it is going to be Dwayne McKeever gets the win. Dwayne McKeever gets the win, and a good debate from the judges there. David, there was a little bit more judging on that one than I thought, but you guys are just making sure.
Yeah, we saw very similar mistake from both drivers. Both drivers were decelerating longer than they should in the first corner. And then we've been deliberating how both drivers were able to deal with that situation. And basically it came to the fact that when Dwayne was dealing with the deceleration in front of him, he was able to deal with it slightly better than Joachim was capable of dealing with longer deceleration from Dwayne. But we just hope that when Dwayne will come for the next battle, he will just clean that up.
Okay, so clean up Dwayne McKeever, don't go. But again, same issue with both drivers, so they can't blame each other. So it's even Stevens.
It's even, yeah.
And then one of them adapted a little bit better, which was McKeever. There you go. You can actually see inside the E92 of Kevin Pesur. We're big Kevin Pesur fans here, but I'm also a big Fionn Roche fan. So these are two guys.
Oh, we can have a slugfest at this one. Yeah, I'm a big Kevin Pesur fan.
I like both these guys, so I'm not going to take any sides here. But however, two young guys coming up in the sport. Fionn Roche is a rookie. Never competed in Drift Masters before, and he has now got a chance of being the highest ranked Shanahan driver in the championship of the three. Just saying.
But he's going up against a man who is on form.
Yeah, Kevin Pesur last year, to me, I've never witnessed in my history of being in the sport someone rise so fast and be that good so quick and consistent as Kevin Pesur. So Fionn Roche, welcome to Drift Masters and welcome to Kevin Pesur. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, here we go. Through the gate they go, down through the gears, and look at this from Fionn Roche. Plays it cool, looks for that initiation now. They're starting to get this worked out, these top boys. But Fionn Roche waits a little bit too long to get on that throttle, and you can see him upset the car, hopping and bouncing around the circuit. No problems for Kevin Pesur in that lead position so far now as he fires through that outside zone. Fionn Roche back into the fight now, looks for the transition onto the back bumper, and he goes for the door as Kevin Pesur opens up the throttle. Look at this from Fionn Roche. He fires the car backwards into the rear end of that BMW.
Yeah, I mean, Kevin Pesur's lead there,
textbook.
Chef's kiss. Yeah. Like, very good. From Fionn Roche's point of view, it's weird. He's sort of trying to catch Kevin Pesur, but he also has no angle. No. So he finds himself in I would imagine, a split decision of he's not on enough throttle to actually catch Kevin, and he sort of straightens up a little bit. This is just after the first corner for me. This is all pretty clean from both. A very early throttle from Kevin Pesur. Judges are like that. It goes off the handbrake, straight on the throttle. Now watch, he puts the left foot brake on here, Fionn, but it starts to slow the car down. He straightens, and right now he's pretty much kind of driving this section of the track on barely any angle. And that, to me, is a big error. Then he wildly fires it at Pesur, and luckily Pesur's kind of out of the way when he gets there. And then after that, Fionn does a great job. He comes through the inner zone, gets back where he needs to be. So just to me, that outer zone 2 to sort of, our inner zone 2 to outer zone 3, it's just a bit too straight line from Fionn Roche. He's trying to catch him.
And you could see it that the steering, there was a lot of steering input when you watch the front wheels of the car.
And it's also a thing where you go, it's okay to kind of come off angle if you've got great proximity.
Yeah.
But he didn't. No. So he kind of took the chance to get in proximity, but didn't, and it makes the problem look a whole lot worse. Pesur, I think Pesur's ready for the final here. It's just
he's on rails.
Every run is just perfection at the moment, and there's a lot to be said for a driver like Heidrich or Pesur who very rarely make a massive error. And I've just said it now, so it's going to happen.
Yeah, cheers, Dave.
No, but I'm just saying, all I got to do is compliment someone and tell them they're the favourite, and they lose.
And they lose,
That's pretty much how it works in Drift Masters. But from this perspective now, Pesur, it's going to be interesting to see how he deals with Fionn Roche. He will never have battled Fionn Roche before, so he's no data here to go by. He's just going to have to take a risk, and he's got half the job done, but Fionn Roche has got to tidy up that lead now. His lead runs are being weighed heavily here.
They certainly are. Here we go. Look at this. Oh, look at Pesur. He goes for an opposite flick up into the door. He goes as Fionn Roche now a little bit more cool, calm and collected as he dials himself in, opens up the throttle, now starts to drive away from Kevin Pesur as Fionn Roche puts some ground between himself and the Hungarian, and now Pesur finds himself in a bit of jeopardy, has to shortcut the circuit, looks for the door on the outside zone, and Fionn Roche puts the back end of that GT86 right into the zone, but Pesur is with him as he pushes up on the door.
That's a great second run. Great second run from Fionn Roche. And what I love about it is you're starting to see the potential of Fionn Roche in this championship. Very aggressive driver. No fear whatsoever.
No.
And that was a great lead run. Did a great job there. Pesur, I think, has better proximity for me over the run. He's been given a good lead run to work with. And probably Pesur with the better of the two lead runs if you were to look at it. But I think for me, Pesur does well, but Fionn just misses his zone for me, and that's that Pesur didn't. And might come down to something really slight like that. But if you watch the transition here from Fionn Roche, it's a little bit messy. Just here, comes out of the zone a little bit early, doesn't quite collect that outer zone the way he's supposed to. He's in the middle of the track. So if I was to just be an amateur judge, which is all I can be, I would say Pescalti with the better lead, and 1 or 2 more errors from Fionn as well. You can kind of put in there. That's just my initial thoughts. I've seen it go all ways today. So, but I think, you know, for Fionn Roche to come out here against Kevin Pescalti, top 10 in the championship, put up a fight, you know, it's showing that he's where he needs to be.
Yeah, I mean, look, he came out swinging in the second half of the run, and he threw down a lead line that he needed to, and he knows that the judges are weighing heavily on those lead lines, and he gave Kevin Pescalti all the opportunity there to chase him. For me, I think it was just that drive away. I know that he was missing an outside zone, but he absolutely up and gone.
Yeah, well, both of these drivers have a little hug, and he said he's strained in his chase. Yeah, so Fionn even... I love how they're so honest. Why are the drifters so honest? Just say, I was brilliant, you were terrible.
You were terrible.
I should win this. This is the way... Like, to blame the car, always blame the car.
Yeah, always.
That's what race drivers do. Let's see who's going through to the top 16. And it is going to be Kevin Pescalti from Hungary. Gets the win. Goes through to the top 16. You can see how much it means to him. He is very, very happy, very, very relieved. And, you know, positive vibes in the Pescalti camp now as they go chasing the dream.
Yes.
Remember, turned up 4 years ago to a Hungarian Drift Masters event, had never even seen drifting, said, like that, I want to be the champion of that, and everyone, Kevin, come on. Well, here we are, here he is, into the top 16, and back in the championship race again, Fionn Roche. So let's go ahead to Becky Evans. Becky, you're with Fionn. It's been a tough day for the Shanahan team, but Fionn actually did them proud there. Good fight with Kevin Pescalti.
Absolutely, Dave. It's been a tough day in Team Shanahan, but Fionn Roche, this is your debut in Drift Masters. Can you tell me what's going through your mind now after your first battle?
Yeah, kind of disappointed. I knew watching all the battles before me that I think it was going to be one on the entry and just not getting lost in the smoke, but I think that's literally what happened to me in my chase. I washed down and I lost a bit of a gap. I took a gamble by dropping the pressures a bit too much because I knew Kevin was going to be fast, and didn't really work in my favour. I had too much grip in my chase, and it was hard to keep the thing sideways. So I think that's definitely one of the things that cost me.
Well, you knew yourself when you got out the car. You said you went straight up to Kevin and said, you know, I think I straightened there. Like, it's brilliant to see such a young man so honest. But are you hungry for the championship this year?
I don't know about the championship. I just want to get some good results under my belt and kind of make a name for myself. You know, I think it's hard to prove yourself with the level of drifting this high. So yeah, we'll be back in Manila for sure. We know that track.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Fionn.
Well, you have a Fionn Roche. You know what? It's a rookie driver coming into what I would call a massive pool of sharks. And he's been thrown in as a sardine. And if he survives, everyone respects him.
So you've just called Fionn Roche a sardine?
Publicly.
Not even privately.
But a sardine, maybe not a sardine, maybe tuna fish. The tuna fish, yeah, they can fight back. Yeah, they're pretty big. They could actually probably eat a shark. Anyway, it's not the National Geographic Channel, it's Drift Masters. And Jason Benet sits on the line.
He's going to get a buy run.
Yeah. On his own.
And I've just been told in my ears he was going to get a buy run. Marco Zaccaril, unfortunately, suffered engine failure in practice. Can't get the car back out, Dave, so it will be a buy run for the Frenchman, Jason Benet. And you know what? A man that deserves a turn of fortune, Dave.
Well, it's one of those days, because he wasn't the favourite going in here if you look at championship order, but that means he's today in alternate universe Drift Masters, he is going to be going through to the top 16. And Jason Benet, to be honest, if I was actually to look at Zaccaril and Jason Benet, joking aside, I would have put my money on Jason Benet because he was unbelievable in qualifying. Now, of course, when I say that, he goes off the track. Yeah. But that's what happens today. Every time you say something, the opposite happens. So I think that I am not going to get money rained on me from the sky today. Not going to happen.
No, that's definitely not going to happen.
No. So Jason Benet does go through to the top 16. It has been a topsy-turvy top 32. No idea what's going to happen, and if that's anything to go by, when we get to the top 16 later today, it's going to be even more crazy, because from my perspective, there is only one driver that finished in the top 5 in the championship last year that's still in the competition with 16 drivers to go. And there are some names in there that are starting to believe in.
They certainly are starting to believe. And you know what, for me, I'm going to quickly take a look around this battle tree that I've got in front of me already. And I'm going to say there's a few people in here now that can say this could be the year. Zalewski, Cherba, Heidrich, Pescalti, McKeever. These could be the guys that shine this year. They could be the guys that are leading this championship as we go to round 2.
Right, what if all of the mid-pack drivers from last year all take all the points, and then it's all the favourites chasing them for the rest of the year? How good would that be?
I mean, it'd be amazing.
That would be incredible.
Because just think about the battles we're going to get.
You could get
every
like
round.
20 guys that could be all willing to win the championship in the last round. Just saying, could happen.
Oh, yeah, there'd be like 6, 9 last year that could have won it, technically.
So Jason Benet gets the bye run, goes through to the top 16. He's all smiles. He's only a youngster. So this is going to be a pretty obvious decision. The judges finally take a breath and say this was okay. Jason Benet gets the win from France. France into the top 16. And a lot of nations in there. So let's have a look at Wade's stacking up for the top 16. This is what you're going to get excited about now, because this is where it gets interesting. Look at this. Ali Makhseed take on Manuel Vacca. Król against Pöytälaakso. Randalu Korpuliński. Pesur Correia. Heidrich. Sorry, this, are we going into... this was how it went down this way. Look at that. I'm just looking at it. The Heidrich and Zalewski battle for coming up later on. And Heidrich McKeever. I mean, come on. There's some crazy battles here.
Yeah, every single battle looks good to me. Do you know, Makhseed, Król, Cherba, Halivnia, Kevin Pesur, Jason Benet. Benet not tested yet, but looking confident. Very nice lead lines yesterday, but Pesur looks like he's hungry for it. Orjan, Nilsen, Dawid, Sposób. Sposób, for me, I think he's going to go into that one and he's going to have to really fight because Nilsen looks so strong.
Incredible. So we have 16 drivers, and I'm doing very quick math here, so you can take it away from me if it's not. And I only think 4 of them have ever been on a podium at Drift Masters. So
I think you're right, yeah.
That is 12 drivers in the top 16 that have a chance at a podium today that have never been, you know, in the mix on the podium. So it's gonna, I mean, if you look at the way it's stacking up, it has to go to someone very unpredictable. So we got all that ahead of us later on. And Becky, it seems like it's going to be another wild top 16 to kick off 2024. Have you been enjoying the action?
Yes, absolutely, Dave. Honestly, you can never predict what's going to happen at a Drift Masters round. And if our top 32 has been anything to judge by, I don't know what's going to happen in our top 16. I mean, obviously, we've had our top 5 contenders from last year. We only have one of them left in the fight, which means it's all to play for. There's going to be a cat amongst the pigeons this afternoon. I think we're going to have a very interesting result, and I can't wait to see it. So make sure, you guys at home, we're going to be back at 15:30 local time here in Spain, and we'll see you extremely soon.